Okay.
And the reason that I start the program today is I made the statement one time that, sometimes when I go to national parks, I like to take, pretty national park pictures. And someone said, well, I hope when you go to, might have been one of you guys, when we go to Haleakala National Park,
oh, yeah.
like I hope you have nice, clear skies. Yeah. I don't want clear skies. I want interesting skies. That's the way that I look at our sports teams. I don't want interesting skies. Or I don't want clear skies. I want interesting skies.
Really?
Giannis is giving us some interesting skies right now.
Oh, he absolutely is.
Because I don't know what chapter we're on. In the doc, I said chapter 42, just because I needed to assign some sort of number to it. But the twists and turns, it's like the days of our lives with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Is he asking for a trade? Is he not asking for a trade? Doc Rivers says he has never asked for a trade. Giannis has had load management issues. He played last night after playing poorly against the Washington Wizards, the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Man, but then they got the game 2 nights later against the best team in the Eastern Conference. So what happens? Well, Doc, after a day of just Sham saying it, Brian Windhorst saying it, Giannis is asking for a trade. Giannis and his agent and the Bucks are exploring what his future could look like outside of Milwaukee. Whole day of this stuff after, a decade of this stuff. But it just seems like it's gaining momentum. And Doc was asked about it before the game. Why is this gaining momentum now? It's like, because we're playing poorly. Okay, that tracks. That makes sense. The window's over. The window's shut. It is. That's the nails going into the windows. And then you paint over it. Bucks are not winning a championship in this Giannis era. It's not happening. You look at what's going on in the West. You look at how poorly they have played this year. Their last chance, like John Horst said, that there's 3 kind of distinct windows that they hope to get championships out of. And they got one in the second window. I mean, it's great. We've talked about other teams that have made big swings in the NBA, trying to bring in superstars in that attempt to win a championship. The Clippers have done it. The 76ers have done it. The Suns, to a certain extent, have done it. And they've all failed. The Bucks got one. The Nuggets got one. Oklahoma City, I think, they've got one, and they're in the midst of, I think, a true kind of rebirth of what that entire franchise could possibly look like. But the Bucks did get their one, but it's going to be a one and done. So after a whole day of this, and then Doc having to address it in the pregame, Giannis is starting the game against the best team in the Eastern Conference. Plays 3 minutes, goes down with a calf injury. Doesn't come back. They've ruled out an Achilles injury. Don't know how long he's going to be out, but this is just another twist and turn into the saga. And oh, by the way, the Bucks won the game.
As you predicted, Doug, as I recall yesterday.
As I kind of thought might.
What a prediction.
Well done, Doug.
Well,
you may not give yourself the pat on the back, but I'll give you the pat on the back. I appreciate
it. A busted clock is right twice a day, too.
Yeah, that's true. It is. Yeah, you just have a stinker against the Wizards, but this will probably be the game that they win against the 17-4 Detroit Pistons.
I always say that baseball is a funny game. Maybe basketball is the funnier game.
Yeah, well, it is quite a joke, but I'm just kidding. It was right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just what a wild turn of events to see to have the trade rumors come down, and then immediately 3 minutes in, it's like, oh well, so much for that.
Yep. Womp womp.
So now what do you get? I mean, for a calf, because with the way calves have been across, really all of sports, but yeah, especially the NBA, like all these guys have little minor, calf strains, calf issues, and they try and come back, and the next thing you know, the Achilles pops, and then they're gone for a whole year, and that's what's kind of concerning, because if you rush back from this, there's the concern there with the Achilles. They had to rule it out initially, but that does mean that's not something that could happen later on. Damian Lillard, initially a calf issue. And then when he comes back, it's like, oh, wow, what a miraculous comeback. Pop, there goes the Achilles. It's like pop goes the weasel, except a lot less fun.
Would that not be the best case scenario for Bucks fans?
What?
If Giannis went down with an injury, he'd be trapped here, which everyone seems to want.
Everybody
seems to want him here.
That's a bold take, Cotton.
That's a very hot take. The best case scenario, Giannis being hurt, I don't buy
I
that.
think people are more fearful of him leaving than him getting hurt. I think people would recognize.
I want to see him on the court as a
because he has trade value.
If
on
he's
the
on
court.
the court, he leaves.
Yeah, he's going to leave anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the question. If people are so possessive over him, which people tend to be over their players, and they want them to stay forever, in their world, an injury would be a good scenario because he would have to stay. No one would trade him well injured.
That's
no
like
one would acquire an injured asset, and they'd be bad. And their pick, even if they have to swap, if it's worse than the Pelicans aren't any good.
That's like smothering the bunny so no one else can see the bunny. That's like
To what extent are people willing to go to keep their favorite player around? I think people are.
Well, I'm not willing to go all Tanya Harding on him. Like
I think people have already become overly hesitant to move off of him. They are blinded by past results, and they are looking at him and saying that they won't be able to be a Bucks. I've seen people say, if the Bucks move him, I'm never going to be a Bucks fan again. I'd stop being a Bucks fan.
And you were never a Bucks fan to begin with.
And that's the argument I made a couple days ago. I think that people are Giannis fans and not necessarily Bucks fans. And if they were to move Giannis, I asked if the fan base would be as impassioned as Dallas. And Dougie gave me a good answer. He said, well, I mean, when they moved Ray Allen, everyone was upset. And, you know, that they didn't necessarily quit on the team then, but they were terrible. And you used to be able to have your own section at,
it was
get games.
It was
no
hard.
one was there. I mean, Dallas fans are still there. Like that's my question. Ultimately, to what extent would you be willing? It's morbid, but if Giannis were to get hurt, it would almost ensure he's a Buck next season.
I mean, but again, I think that goes back to I love you so much. I can only have you and no one else can. So I'm just gonna, you know, as Dave said, Tanya Harding you.
Yeah.
I think that Bucks. Okay, so if you're a Bucks fan, you don't have to go to every game, and your interest can wane when they don't perform well. As
every team ever.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, I think to a certain extent, every fan base is a quote unquote front runner. That's not. I mean, it sounds very pejorative, and maybe it is a little bit. You even look at the St. Louis Cardinals. They've gotten bad, and their fans have responded by not going to the games. So Cardinals fans for years would tell us how great they are because they support their team through thick and thin. Till the tickets got really expensive and the team got really bad.
Yeah.
And then they stopped going out in droves. Now there are the diehards, and there are going to be the Bucks diehards as well. But there are very few teams, and we pointed out a few of them. Listen, Packers fans are one of them. The Packers were terrible in the 70s and 80s, and Lambeau Field was still sold out. Not necessarily the case at County Stadium every week when they played there, but at Lambeau Field, there were sellouts every week, and the Packers are an anomaly. When the Cowboys are bad, Cowboys fans don't show up to AT&T Stadium. That's how fans vote. So I think that, yeah, to a certain extent, everyone is a front runner. If you're a Bucks fan, you understand that at some point Giannis isn't going to be a Milwaukee Buck. Every relationship ends. Every single relationship ends. As I like to say, the best ones, the most successful ones, end up with somebody dead and in a pine box.
Yeah.
Sure.
But every relationship comes to an end at some point. I don't want Giannis injured. I don't think that's best case scenario. Listen, I don't shy It's not the way the world works, unfortunately. It is hard to win a championship. It's supposed to be hard to win a championship. They don't come around very often. Cherish the ones that you have because there is no guarantee. I said it at the time. People didn't want to hear it. There's no guarantee at all that this team is ever getting back to the championship round. And they haven't, and they didn't, and they won't.
As currently constructed.
8-7, right. I mean, there's going to have to be a new era. 877-794-1973, the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line open to you. Tony is in Oak Creek. Hey, Tony, you're on D.N.D.
Hey, gentlemen.
Who you call it, gentlemen?
I would rather. I use that term loosely.
Of course.
So I would have rather the Bucks have gotten ahead of this and just traded Giannis to hold. So the way we view Giannis right now, or prior to this, is that he loved Milwaukee so much. He would do anything for Milwaukee. He wanted to stay here. He loved the city. He loved the people. He loved the fans. Now, my opinion of Giannis isn't that high, and maybe it's wrong, but my opinion now is that, you know what, he wants to win championships more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I value the loyalty part.
Sure.
And I use a player of Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh. You know what? He could have demanded a trade years ago, but he didn't. They haven't made the playoffs in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't made it out of the first round in years. But he has not demanded a trade, and he probably is a player that deserves a trade.
Yeah, probably.
But Giannis, what Giannis is doing now kind of diminishes and tarnishes his legacy here in Milwaukee. So I would rather the Bucks have just come out ahead and just traded him, and Giannis come out and said, "Hey, this is in the best interest of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what Giannis wanted. This is what the franchise needed." Unfortunately,
yeah.
and by milking this and by dragging this out, it just makes it worse for everybody. Now, I don't want what Dallas did. I do not want what Dallas did. I want the highest bidder, and I don't care if they send them to Memphis or New Orleans. But you know,
do you remember the Ray Allen trade, Tony?
Will eventually. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that kind of reminds me of that trade.
Yeah, Ray Allen didn't want to leave.
Right.
Ray Allen loved Milwaukee,
mm-hmm.
and that still hurts, and that
set the franchise back about a decade is what it did.
Absolutely, and and it doesn't matter what we get in return. It's going to haunt us for years, and it's going to set us back for years, and we're going to look back, and it is what it is. But again, we hold Giannis in such high regards that what's going on now kind of tarnishes his legacy, and we don't want that. I don't want that.
Sure.
But unfortunately, this is what's happening.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Tony. I mean, listen, first of all, for Tony, I mean, he said that maybe my opinion is wrong. Your opinion's never wrong. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And if it tarnishes what has been going on in Tony, Creek's mind, I mean, listen, I get it. I don't agree. I mean, I have a different take on it. I have a different opinion. Right. Tony's certainly entitled to his. To me, it doesn't tarnish what Giannis has done because of how great he has been. And when he's healthy, he just hasn't been healthy a lot lately. But this team was just starving for anything. This team was, forget starving for a championship. If you would have told me in 2011 or 2012 that within a decade the Bucks would win an NBA championship, I would have thought you were insane. Yeah. They were so far away from just relevance. They were so far away from just being thought of as a legitimate professional sports franchise. If you would have told me that they would have climbed the mountain within a decade, I would have thought you were crazy. But that's what Giannis helped bring Milwaukee.
Let me ask you this, Doug. To Tony and Oak Creek's point, does Kareem's legacy in Milwaukee take a hit for him having requested a trade out.
To some people, it has. To me, I wasn't old enough to remember any of that. Looking back on it in hindsight in 2020, hindsight being 2020, I've actually interviewed Kareem and asked him about that over the years. And he's always had a really thoughtful response to it. And, I paraphrase it when he said, look, I told the Bucks a year ahead of time that I just don't want to be part of a rebuild. Oscar's retired. Some of my other teammates from the 71, and then they got back to the finals in 74. They're not here anymore, and I want a chance to win. So I'm telling you ahead of time, try to get as much as you can from me. If you could trade me to LA or New York, where I went to college or where I grew up, that would be great. But I just don't want to be part of a rebuild. And they honored that request, and they got back as much as they could.
Yeah.
Most notably, Brian Witters and Junior Bridgman. Was it fair market value? Of course not. And they were never going to. And it's the same thing with Giannis. That's why there's so many parallels.
Yeah. But in terms of like his legacy in the city,
to me, no. I mean, but to others, yes.
Yeah.
To others, yes. I mean, I talked to this about Chuck Freeman on the air one time, our good friend. And he was still, 48 years later, he was still pissed off. And I'm like, and he's a little bit older than me, so he remembers it better than I do.
Right.
But I just don't hold that against him or against what his legacy in Milwaukee is. I mean, that would be, I think, akin to Atlanta Braves fans holding it against Hank Aaron that he sought a trade from Atlanta and maybe it would be a good idea for him to not have to play the field and then come back to the American League and end his career in Milwaukee. I don't see that. And certainly Atlanta fans don't hold that against Hank Aaron. He came back to Atlanta, lived the rest of his life there, and became a beloved figure in their community and stayed a beloved figure in our community.
Absolutely.
Kareem was in his prime.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, he was.
And Giannis is
past
on
his
the
prime.
end of his prime.
Pass.
I mean, when he's out there, he's still one of the best players on the planet. So it's hard to quantify prime, right? But
his prime was so good. His prime was so high.
Well, statistically, to open the year, he was looking pretty hot. But regardless,
a lot of it has to do with injury, I think, though, too.
He's banged up. He's certainly a lesser player, but to what degree, do you make the comparisons? Kareem was one of the best players in the world in his prime, maybe the best player of the world at the time. Well, Giannis is not considered that. I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt. I see he's a top 5 player in the league. Doug, yesterday we touched on top 10, whatever you want to say. He's still one of the most elite players in all of basketball.
When healthy.
But there's a little bit of a difference there. Like how much more can you squeeze out of him here in Milwaukee? It felt you would look back at Kareem's career and say, clearly you could have squeezed a lot more out of him. He goes on and he wins championships elsewhere. I don't know. Giannis, if he leaves, let's say hypothetically they do trade him, which I think is the most likely scenario whenever they make that decision. I don't know if he's a guy that has opportunities to make it to the finals. I mean, it would truly depend on what team he lands on, in my opinion. Like, I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, you're going to trade Giannis somewhere and he's going to go to the finals and maybe he'll win it and it's going to burn, it's going to hurt. I don't know. I mean, if he gets dealt to Atlanta like we were doing yesterday talking about, I don't think Atlanta makes it to the NBA finals. So Giannis just gets out of Milwaukee and gets a better opportunity for him. And hopefully you get something in return that you're satisfied with.
Yeah. And that something in return doesn't, preclude that team from having the talent and what they need in order to get the finals, because that's part of it. Because if the Bucks are going to get what they want for Giannis, if they're going to get that haul back that they're looking for, now, again, they may still not get market value, as Doug's pointed out, but still with, the draft picks or the players that you're getting back, those are players that could help that team get to the NBA finals with Giannis that instead you're taking away from and putting on the Bucks. So, when it comes to a trade there, there's going to be part of it where that team is going to be getting worse in some areas, most likely in depth that they're losing in order to be able to get Giannis, which, that can hamper your ability to make it to the NBA Finals.
Let's go back and look at Kareem then for a second, because he had a great season when the first year that the Bucks traded him to the Lakers, he was the league's MVP.
Yeah.
Lakers were sub 500 that year. They weren't a championship team. They were in a championship team for a couple more years until a guy named Irvin Johnson arrived from Michigan State University.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he goes by a nickname, maybe you've heard of it, called Magic.
Yeah.
that's when Showtime happened. So they had some playoff disappointments. They had, some success. They weren't a terrible basketball team by any stretch of the imagination, but what got them great was a draft choice a few years into Kareem's tenure with the Lakers. And that's when they became that 1980s dynasty. So if he does get traded to Atlanta, for example, as we were talking about, or the Knicks, for example, depending on, what the haul back would be, that doesn't mean that those teams are automatically going to be NBA Finals contenders. What it could mean is they have a couple of mediocre seasons, get a great draft choice, get a difference maker, and then Giannis is the elder statesman of that team with this up-and-comer. They get some ancillary players around him, and all right, here we go. Let's run this thing back. I think that's a likely scenario, or at least a possible scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly a real possibility, and it's just so hard to think of. But now with the calf strain, it's like all that now has to almost be put on hold.
It does. All right, coming up in a few minutes, we're going to check in with Mark Carman from CHGO Sports. We're going to talk some Chicago Bears football. He's going to be our eye on the enemy this week. Stay with us. Doug, Nick, and Dave, D.N.D. on the game.
Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. The Packers host the Bears in a battle for the top of the NFC North on Sunday.
I mean, there's a lot that's to be said about, the Bears and how they're doing right now. And, they've put together a hell of a season. But, at the end of the day, I feel like, we all understand if we, go out there, put our best foot forward and play our best ball, that we don't feel like there's a team in the league that can hang with us. So, it's definitely going to be a big game. There's a little extra hype behind that in that sense. But as a team, we all understand the type of game that's going to be.
Stay with us all week as we have the best guests and conversation previewing the matchup right here on The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released, Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album, Born to Run. The album charts at number 5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to number 18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl. But she used to be mine.
In July of 78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit number 1. In August of 78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to number 1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up.
Here are the top Fleetwood Mac songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Don't Stop.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Number 2, Dreams. Number 1, Go Your Own Way.
You can go your own way. Go your own way.
Hear more from Fleetwood Mac and similar artists now. Search for Fleetwood Mac on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Eagles songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Life in the Fast Lane.
He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it. Life in the fast lane surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane. Everything all the time.
Number 2, Take It Easy.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels make you crazy. Come on, baby. Don't say nay.
Number 1, Hotel California.
There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place.
Hear more from the Eagles and similar artists now. Search for the Eagles on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
All right, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to check in with CHGO sports host Mark Carman. He tells me he's on the metro. He's on the train, so we may hear some announcements. Doors open on the left at Addison. This is a Blue Line train to O'Hare.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Every time I drive past the Blue Line, that's, drives my wife crazy. Like, channeling your inner Chicagoan. I'm like, I'm not a Chicagoan. I just lived here for a few years.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
You didn't fall in love with the sports teams.
No, I just fell in love. I did fall in love with the city. I think Chicago's a great city. I did not fall in love. Although I did like the Blackhawks when they were
okay.
They were terrible at the time. Then they got good. Now they're bad
Yeah.
again.
The Blackhawks are fine to like just because there's no Milwaukee equivalent to,
Sure.
And
if you're a Predators fan, the Predators are terrible this year.
Predators are so bad. So bad. It's insane, but
no.
Yeah. I mean, the Admirals have been so good in the last couple of years. Maybe they got to, call up some of those guys.
Well, they did last year, and that's kind of how the playoff run has ended in years past.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
DJ Too Bad Chad writes, whoa, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Apparently, you haven't met my wife. Thank you.
Ding the bell. There we go.
We need a rim shot for that. Let's see. Wayne and Nash.
Hold on one second. Where is it here?
Yeah. You let me know when you got it. Okay, there we go.
Got to scroll through a whole bunch of stuff here, Mike. It's somewhere in here.
Wayne in Nash Vegas. I don't want the Bucks to trade Giannis because I want to see him play in one uniform and one uniform only, like Kobe, Tim Duncan, and David Robinson. But if they do, I get it. And Horst better take the other team to the cleaners. I mean, you're going to get what you're going to get. You're never, again, the parallels between what happened 50 years earlier and 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's staring you right in the face, right?
Yeah. And look, I think all of us too, like, we've wanted him to stay here for his entire career. It's just recognizing the reality that that's probably not going to happen.
Well, you wanted him to remain here, and you also wanted them to be, if not a dynasty, at least rack up 2 or 3 championships.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Yeah. But still, I mean, getting one is better than none.
Yeah.
I mean, the way
ask the Clippers, ask the Hawks.
Yeah. So many teams, so
Brooklyn
many
Nets.
examples. They open their championship window and it's like, oh, we got a team that can win an NBA title. Or even, win a Super Bowl or win a World Series or win all this. They had their championship windows open and they shut without ever actually getting one.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the Bucks to have actually at least gotten one, I mean, that puts them above, so many others. And that's something I still think to be thankful for, and just kind of remember and point out, as disappointed as everyone is that we didn't get 2 or 3, to at least have gotten one is just a massive win, a massive success.
It's a collective sigh of relief.
Yeah,
that too.
In all of history, for now and forever, you will not have to deal with how did we not get it done with Giannis?
Yeah.
They did. So they did the bare minimum. They did the only thing that they had to do. Multiple is what everyone wants, but minimum, you needed one, and they did it. So
yeah, you can't get multiple without getting one.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
Speaking of getting one and never getting back again, at least to the top of the mountain, the Chicago Bears. And Mark Carman covers the Chicago Bears for CHGO Sports. He's our eye on the enemy. He's coming up straight ahead. Stay with us. It's D.N.D. on the game.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D. will be back in just a moment.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In February of 77, 60s band leader Manfred Mann has a new band and scores a U.S. #1 hit with a cover of Bruce Springsteen's song Blinded by the Light. In March, Foreigner released their debut album. It goes to #4 in the U.S., driven by 2 top 10 singles, Cold as Ice and Feels Like the First Time. Philadelphia blue-eyed soul duo Hall & Oates have their first U.S. #1 with Rich Girl from their 5th album, Bigger Than the Both of Us. Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors is released. It's their second #1 album in a row in the U.S., dominating the charts at #1 for 31 weeks. It spawns 4 top 10 singles, including the #1 Dreams.
When the rain washes you clean,
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Foreigner songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Hot Blooded.
I show you loving like you never knew. That's why I'm hot-blooded. Check it and see. Feel the fever burning inside of me. Come on, baby, do you do more than dance?
Number 2, I Want to Know What Love Is.
To change this lonely life, I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
Number 1, Cold as Ice.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
Hear more from Foreigner and similar artists now. Search for Foreigner on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to #1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits #3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of 71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 #1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqua Lungs.
Running down his nose. Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their third #1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their second #1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the #1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up.
Welcome back. It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave here on this Thursday, December 4th, 2025. The Packers taking on the Chicago Bears coming up on Sunday. It's a 3:25 kickoff. Packers Game Day coverage starts at 11 a.m. with me and Packers Game Day live from the Miller Lite end zone at Lambeau Field. I would say stop by and say hello, but the gates aren't open until I get off the air. But I'll still be there, of course, for Packers preview. Dennis Krause, Wes Hodkiewicz, Drew Olson will stop by. James Jones is there. At least the disembodied voice of James Jones is there. I'm not sure if Mark Carman is going to be in Green Bay this weekend or not, but he is the host of the CHGO Sports Podcast. Also has been heard on WGN, NBC Sports Chicago, Fansided. He's been covering the Chicago Bears for a long, long time. And about 100 years ago, in a land far, far away, he was my co-host way back in another lifetime. Hi, Mark. How are you today?
Dougie, I'm great. What was the name of that show? What do we call it?
What did we call that thing?
Russell. We had 7 listeners.
But we treated all of them with such care and love and respect.
We did. Always all hail Craig Larson, the great PD. Apologize that I'm doing this on the Metro. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. I do, but we do have a strong listenership in this car who want to hear about Bears and Packers. So let's go.
All right, first question for you. I mean, I think it's probably the most obvious question. By the way, Nick and Dave are here as well. Is this Bears team for real?
That's a great question that nobody really has the answer to. The win over the Eagles was impressive, but Philly is a mess. I think that's obvious. So here's what I think is for real on the Bears. The run game is real. Whether they'll be able to do it against Green Bay, that's a different story because you guys have all the speed on the outside. The Bears are going to have to run in the interior. I'm not quite sure they're going to be able to do that, but I think they'll have at least some level of success. So that offensive line, that run game is real. Defensively, the secondary is real and getting stronger with Jalen Johnson coming back, with Kyler Gordon coming back. But they still have problems getting to the quarterback, and the quarterback himself is completing 58% of his passes, which is not good enough if the Bears are really to be, for real. It's going to have to come up.
When you look at Ben Johnson as a head coach, not too long ago, Matt Nagy was the NFL's coach of the year, and you guys went to the playoffs and the double doink and everything. How is he maybe different? Because the vibe right now feels like you got your guy, but you felt that way in the past. How might he be different, and how might he actually be that guy for you guys moving forward?
So I don't think there's any comparison between Ben Johnson and Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy was cute. He was enthusiastic. He looked the part, I guess, in some ways as far as an offensive guru, but that dude was not an offensive guru. He did not understand the run game at all. That makes you less than an offensive guru. I would say that makes you a mediocre coordinator at best. And you look good when you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid with you. So not to completely disparage Matt Nagy, but I just don't think it's the same. Also, Ben Johnson, it has completely commanded this locker room in ways that, the Bears had Club Dub going on back then, and that was cute and adorable too. But this is just different. There's a buy-in here. It's not just about the excitement of winning. I think there's a buy-in, and the guy actually knows what he's doing. So you're talking about a guy that is taking a quarterback in Caleb who needs this level of guru. And they've got more. The Bears are top 5 offensively in explosive plays and all these categories that they really shouldn't be sniffing. So I just think Ben's just a different level. I don't know why he wanted to come to Chicago, but for whatever reason he did, and he's owning the space.
Mark, Caleb Williams, as you mentioned there, he is obviously the key to all of this for the Bears as the quarterback. What he did in year 1, left a lot to be desired. In year 2 here, even though the team's having more success, As you mentioned, statistically, there's still some areas where he's falling behind, maybe not quite a top quarterback. What have you made of Caleb Williams' jump from year 1 to year 2? Where are the areas that he's gotten better with Ben Johnson?
So the main area is the operation. In training camp for the Bears, they would have a false start, and then they'd have a false start, and then they'd have another false start. I mean, they did that like 9 times a day, and it was, I mean, watching is like, are they going to win 5 games, 6 games? This doesn't look good. But he now got to a point where last week he actually drew the Eagles offsides in a big moment. And he got to celebrate that. He could not have done that, 4 or 5 months ago. So it's huge growth. And, word on the street is he's in the office with Ben late at night. The rest of the team's gone home. They're in there working. So I think his understanding of the offense has come a long way. Now, it hasn't come to the point where he can just play free and use his immense athletic talents to really, really shine. They haven't gotten there yet. I don't think that's likely to come this year. Probably sometime next year. It would be way more realistic. So, but his understanding, his operation, his just getting the offense, that has improved dramatically. And it started about, right around the bye week. The Bears had the early bye week after week 4, and it started to come together in ways that it just did not look like that at all.
Mark Carman, he's the host of the CHGO Sports Podcast, covers the Bears, our Eye on the Enemy segment here on D.N.D. on the Game Radio Network. There were 2 NFL owners that passed away this past off season, Jim Irsay in Indianapolis and Virginia McCaskey in Chicago. I think in Indianapolis, we're seeing maybe kind of a shift in the way that they do business because their new owner, Carly Irsay, is on the sideline. She's got headsets on. She's in it. Is there any market difference between what the ownership looked like from a day in and day out basis when Virginia was still alive as opposed to now?
The answer to that, Doug, is mostly no, because they brought in Kevin Warren to be their team president while Virginia was still alive. Now, that was a major shift. George McCaskey, Ted Phillips leaves the building. Ted was with the organization literally forever, started as an accountant, and he rose up to president. He negotiated the Bears' renovation of Soldier Field and hired a gazillion coaches that didn't know what they were doing and all of that. So then here comes Kevin in, and it's different. And the Bears had bought this piece of land in Arlington Heights, Illinois, where they're going to build their new stadium. And Kevin comes in and says, no, we don't want to leave Chicago, and didn't understand the politics of Chicago. So now he's crawling his way back to Arlington Heights, and the politicians of Chicago are trying to hold him up, saying, hey, it's like, you guys owe us $500 million on this building, which, by the way, shouldn't be the Bears' problem. That's the city's problem of paying the bare minimum on the interest every time. And so, of course, the bill just goes up and kick things down the road. This is not why you had me on. But the point is that, I'm sorry, that thing just annoys me. But the biggest difference is that they went out. It really does. They went out and paid $13 million for a coach. I mean, Ben Johnson's not coming here for this is your first opportunity. We'll give you the $3-4 million. No. So Kevin's impact, outside of what I just named, was significant in that the checkbook was open to bring in the best coach out there, and they did it. So I guess, talking through the whole answer, maybe that's a major change, but that was coming whether Virginia was alive or not.
Mark, it's not necessarily linear. It doesn't always hold. But in my opinion, you look at the Bears and the Packers as the 2 teams that forecast to be able to continue to be successful for years to come. I think the Lions might be in trouble with an aging quarterback. I know he's just 31, but Dan Campbell, is he the guy? And Minnesota's lost at QB. As you see this rivalry, it's been dominated by Green Bay for a long time. But last year, it was a fingertip away from 2-0 for the Bears. What do you make of Bears-Packers, the 2025 version, and potentially moving forward?
So, I mean, you don't have Brett Favre. You don't have Aaron Rodgers. You do have Jordan Love, who a lot of people in Chicago like to knock on. But, I see a pretty damn good quarterback there, wherever you want to rank him, top 10, top 12, top 8. I mean, he's in the team photo. So I do still look at Green Bay as they're ahead of the Bears. Now, the Bears are gaining. There's no doubt about it. But I'm also living in the land that The Bears are 16-49 against the Packers since 1992. So, I mean, that does something to you when your win percentage is under 33%. That's not very good. So I actually need to see the Bears beat Green Bay when Green Bay needs to win a game, unlike the end of last year. And yes, they could have swept the series. That's an excellent underlining because they did have them beat, and that was with Matt Eberflus and a completely different team. So if you were close then, there's reason for the Bears to be optimistic. But I still need to see it. But this, which is amazing that hey, they're playing for first place. Nobody thought the Bears would be 9-3, and at 0-2, I thought they'd finish the year with 4 wins. So this is a major shift, and the Bears haven't really fully hit their stride either. So they are coming. How high is up for this team? I don't know, but if Caleb hits, it's pretty damn high. And for the record, I love the backup quarterback. I think Tyson Bagent is a starter in the NFL. I think he'd run Ben Johnson's system incredibly well. So I think the Bears would have the same record with the backup, maybe even slightly better, because Tyson has just played a lot more football as far as the type of football that Ben wants to play. Now, he doesn't have the arm strength, he doesn't have the speed of Caleb. So, I don't think this is like fully. It's got to be Caleb or nothing. Like, I think you can bring in a quarterback who can run Ben's system, and the Bears will, are setting themselves up with a much better roster that they'll have success.
Mark, in this league, you are what your record says you are, to a point here with the Bears being 9-3. But, one of the other indicators for how good is a team actually is point differential. And the Bears just getting back into the positive in that category after their win over the Eagles this past week. I mean, having a winning record with a negative point differential for quite a few weeks there. Where does that say to you about, just how good this Bears team actually is?
Well, it underlines how incredibly fortunate they've been. I mean, we can go through it off the top of my head, albeit on the Metro. You have the blocked field goal against the Raiders in Week 4. That was a miracle. Josh Blackwell, phenomenal job, but you can't count on that. The Raiders are about to win that football game. That's a bad team. The Commanders had him beat, and they just fumbled the ball to them on their final drive. Now the Bears did move it 20 yards to go down and kick a game winner. So, and shout out Jake Moody, now a Commander, who did that for him when Cairo Santos was hurt, and you just keep on going down. The Giants had the Bears beat. Jackson Dart got hurt. Russell Wilson couldn't play. The Bears won the football game. I mean, there's been, last year they lost all these games. I mean, they really weren't that bad of a team. They just were incredibly poorly coached, and in the big moments couldn't find their way to anything. Whereas this year they found their way to everything. So, which is why people are still questioning the Bears. But I do look at it like, if you have an offensive line that is highly functioning, you can win a lot of games. And the Bears are just missing that one or the real dynamic pass rusher, or the Micah Parsons that you guys traded for, that would really transform the defense, which is why, ultimately, you got to get to the QB against the best teams or else you're going to lose. And the Bears just don't have that ability to do it outside of Montez Sweat. And Sweat's just playing he's playing fine, but he's not playing at any elite level.
We literally have about 30 seconds left with Mark Carman from CHGO Sports. The Bears won the Super Bowl in 1985. How would you characterize the last 40 years?
Hey, man, listen, I was 11 years old. I went to game 1 of that year. They beat the Bucs 38-28, and I still sing the Super Bowl shuffle, Dougie. So I don't care about, then Jordan showed up at Chicago. We had the greatest player to ever play anything, and I'll take that, and we'll get back there someday. That's how I look.
Fair enough. Great to catch up with you, Mark. Are you coming up to Green Bay on Sunday?
No, I won't be there, but we'll see you guys maybe for the NFC Championship game. Let's just do that.
Let's do that. Let's a rematch of 2010. I love that. I love it when these two teams are playing for something meaningful, as they are this weekend and as they will in a couple of weeks as well. Mark, appreciate the time. Safe travels on the Metro.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Mark. There he goes. Mark Carman, not Mark Harmon, as somebody said on the talk and text line.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
It's not Leroy Jethro Gibbs.
Loved him in Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
It's Mark Carman. You can find him on Twitter at the Carm. From CHGO Sports. Also has been on WGN, has been on NBC Sports Chicago. He's all over the Chicago sports scene. We appreciate his time here on D.N.D. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 straight ahead.
are listening to D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to number 1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations the Bay City Rollers finally score a hit in the U.S. with the number 1 single Saturday Night.
Saturday
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a number 2 U.S. album with Silk Debris. Peter Frampton hits number 1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you, show me the way every day. I want you, show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a number 12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at Demos.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976 coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Prince songs you've thumbed up. Number 3, Little Red Corvette.
Well, Saturday night, I guess that makes it all right. You say, baby, I ain't got enough gas. Oh, yeah. Little red Corvette. Maybe I might too fast. Yes, you are.
Number 2, 1999.
2000 party over. Out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999.
Number 1, When Doves Cry.
Baby, you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Hear more from Prince and similar artists now. Search for Prince on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight 1973.
Ain't it time we said goodbye?
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the number 1 album in the U.S. and the U.K. and a number 1 single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a number 1 single and a number 2 album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of 73, Stevie Wonder is back with the number 4 album, Inner Visions. And Florida band Leonard Skinner released their debut album, have a top 20 hit with Freebird, and tour opening for The Who. Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and score a number 1 hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973 coming up.
Here are the top Stevie Wonder songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Part-Time Lover.
If I'm with friends and we should meet, just pass me by, don't even speak. I know the word is sweet when part-time lovers.
Number 2, Isn't She Lovely?
Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious? That's not 1 minute. Oh.
Number 1, Superstition.
Very superstitious.
broke the looking glass.
Hear more from Stevie Wonder and similar artists now. Search for Stevie Wonder on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, the Milwaukee Bucks have had quite the 24 hours. Yesterday afternoon, news breaks that Giannis is talking to the Bucks about facilitating a trade out of Milwaukee, and Doc Rivers is sick of it.
So here we go again. There's been no conversations. I want to make it clear just I would say one more time, but for the 50th time, it clearly is not getting to one network for sure. Giannis has never asked to be traded. Ever. I can't make that more clear.
But has Giannis asked to be traded?
I don't know.
Where
It's
does he
tough
want
to
to go?
tell, Doug.
Where does he want to go? Where do you think that you'll facilitate a trade with him to New York? But
here we go again.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc.
Here we go again.
Sit on a throne of lies.
No.
Who are you, Lane Kiffin? No.
I think Giannis has most definitely had conversations about being dealt. I think it would be malpractice as a professional athlete of his level if he hasn't had some heart-to-heart, brain-to-brain conversations about the vision of what this team is and how he fits in and how they're going to be competitive. So,
well, right now he's going to fit in on the training table because Giannis left 3 minutes into the game last night with a calf strain. Not an Achilles injury, but a calf strain.
One usually leads to the other, though.
Usually. But even with that, the Bucks still won over the Pistons last night, 113-109.
Weird. So weird. Love it.
Weird.
But weird. I'm glad they won. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm happy anytime
it.
they won after that clunker stinker game of whatever we saw on Monday night against the Wizards.
Yeah.
Lack of effort. I mean, they looked slow and old.
Yeah.
And I know that they're not as old as they were last year. They're not young, though.
Yeah.
They're still not young.
They're not.
Younger.
It's interesting that you mentioned lack of effort there, Doug.
Yeah.
Because effort is, sometimes a question that you ask basketball players, like, hey, how do you get the effort in there, the urgency?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you remember former Wisconsin Badgers basketball player AJ Storr?
Yeah. So he's bounced around a little bit.
Bounced around. Yeah. Now he's at Ole Miss.
I can't keep track of this guy. So he started at Rutgers or St. John's?
St. John's. Then Wisconsin. Then Kansas.
Remember Kansas?
Ole Miss.
Good grief. And people, the transfer portal is a problem right now.
He has been a man on the move for his entire high school experience as well. He was at 4 different high schools. So you can't blame the kid, okay? You got to get back.
He's just a nomad.
Whoa. Red challenge flag. What do you mean you can't blame the kid?
Well, one, we don't know what conversations were had here at Wisconsin and if Wisconsin wanted him to return.
I'm not talking about that.
Well, 4 years. I mean, 8 schools in 8 years.
Well, in high school, what happened was, in high school, at least, to give him the benefit of the doubt, it was COVID. And he moved from one state to the other to play when his state barred him from playing high school basketball.
That explains one.
And then they moved again when that following state also shut down thereafter, I believe. So I think he started in Rockford. He ended up in Nevada somehow, and then ultimately Florida and Arizona and Florida, something like that.
Well, anyways, the question was on effort for players here. And, AJ Storr may have had his issues with, effort at times when he was on Wisconsin's team. But a member of the media asked AJ Storr when he was up at the post-game press conference with his head coach, Chris Beard, asked him about, effort, how do you help facilitate urgency? And very interesting response.
Big lack of effort. It seems pretty obvious, but is that something you can foster as teammates and stuff, or how do you develop that urgency? I suppose.
I mean, you can't really do too much.
Yeah, we can. We can play different players. We can play different players. That's what we did in the second half. Where we won the second half by 7 points. We can play different players. We can fix effort, and it will be fixed.
Chris Beard immediately steps in and says, no, you can do stuff with effort.
Coach of the day, Chris Beard.
He hit him with that quote like he hit his wife. Chris Beard coming in
wow.
like crazy.
My God.
Yeah, I'm not a Chris Beard guy. I have no respect for him as a human.
That's fair, but he wins.
I guess I'm Team AJ Store here.
That's fine. Coach of the day. I didn't say coach of the year. I didn't say man of the year, but that was the correct response.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was the correct response.
You can't do too much with effort.
Any player, you can't do anything with effort. Yeah, you can. You can play different players. Listen, I'm not defending Chris Beard's personal life on any level at all.
But as a coach, he was correct.
But as a coach in that moment, I think, like I said, a busted clock is right twice a day.
Correct.
In that moment, he knocked that answer out of the park.
Yeah. Just incredible. AJ Store. His former team, the Wisconsin Badgers, the basketball team, won last night 85-73 over Northwestern. 26 points for John Blackwell, 23 of them coming in the first half.
Nice. Nick, did you have a response to the last?
No, I think that at least based on reflection from former teammates, I got nothing to say about AJ Store that's negative outside of I wish that this wasn't the reality of the world that we're in. There have been little to no negative reflection about AJ Store from the guys that played with him for an entire season here.
I wish he would have stayed. Honestly, I know why he went to Kansas. He had a good season at Wisconsin.
There is no John Tonje if he stays, so I'm grateful for him leaving. So, but I Ole Miss is an interesting university. I'll say that. I mean, they employ a guy like Chris Beard and take issue with a guy like Lane Kiffin. It doesn't make much sense.
Well, I mean, Lane Kiffin's not a perfect human being, though, either.
Yeah, he's also
a That's what I'm saying. They take issue with the personality of Lane Kiffin and how he's about himself and maybe not the best guy. But on the flip side, Chris Beard is of interest for them and a guy they'd love to hire. I mean,
Lane Kiffin was of interest to them at the beginning as well. So,
but on his way out, they act like they're victims of something that could have never been foreseen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it is Mississippi. Badgers basketball.
Doug's home state. I mean,
listen.
come on.
I left in kindergarten. Number one. Number two. You're not wrong.
You're disparaging his roots
a little bit. There's a reason we left.
Yeah, and there's a reason why Jeff Brom is not leaving Louisville. He wants to stay there, and he has turned down Penn State. So Penn State was looking at Jeff Brom potentially for their head coaching job and trying to get him from Louisville, and Jeff Brom turned him down. He said, thanks, but no thanks. I don't want to go. So Penn State's coaching search continues to be problematic as they're still trying to find someone to take that job, and it's not going very well. And finally,
I think the whole thing's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And last thing here, because it is Packers Bears week, let's just take a moment to go back into the vault a little bit and remember a great moment in Packers Bears history.
It's quick. Pressure coming. Scrambles to his right. Pumps and runs. Aaron Rodgers is inside the pylon. Touchdown Packers. It's Rodgers running for the score.
What did he say? The tape.
Right on cue, Joe.
Oh, that's what he said.
I still own you.
I thought he might have said something earlier. The tape dropped for just a split second.
Just a second. There was a little something in there.
Tiny little split second. I don't know what he said. This being an audio medium and whatnot.
Neither does the FCC, thankfully. So
yes. But when the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers' current team, came in to play the team that he owns, the Chicago Bears, Aaron was unable to play.
Yeah, it was
against
very
the team
sad.
that he owns, which was very sad.
Yeah,
it's even sadder when the Bears won.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's where it's like, maybe you take that Bears win against the Steelers with a bit of a grain of salt. Because if Rodgers was in that game, especially because it was a 3-point game. I mean, that was a close one. So if Rodgers is playing,
the ball over twice.
Yeah, Rodgers would never have done that.
Oh, Aaron, he's had a couple of multi-turnover games this year, but it's rare.
Yeah,
and I think against that team and that environment, it's a tragedy that we didn't get to see him play that game. I was nervous he wouldn't get to see Packers Steelers with Aaron Rodgers in there, and we were fortunate enough to see that for what it's worth. I mean, obviously I drew the short stick in that regard, but at least it happened.
It did, and it was important, I think, for the NFL to see. It would have been great if it was in Green Bay. And even Aaron talked about it during the
absolutely.
week. It's like, I didn't play with that many guys that are there. The only two individuals that he really knew well from his time in Green Bay was Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur. I mean, he knew a couple of the other guys that were there. Not many, though. A small handful.
Yeah.
Elton Jenkins
was one of them, sure.
Yeah.
On the offensive line. But other than that, small, like I said, small handful.
Yeah. It changes over pretty quickly.
Yeah, it really does. You think about just any team, when you look at the Bucs roster right now, I mean, how many players are left from the 2021, and this is 4 years ago, championship team? You got Giannis, Manassas left and came back, and Bobby, and I think that's it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, there's turnover. Sports teams just turn over like you wouldn't believe. And it sneaks up on you, too.
Yeah. It does, and it turns over just as fast as AJ Storr and his team.
Hey, bring it. That's called a callback.
Exactly.
Kavika in Maui writes on the talking text line 877-794-1973. Can you please address this question because it doesn't make sense to me? Why wouldn't the Thunder give the Bucs their 4 lottery picks over the next 2 years for Giannis, which would pretty much guarantee them 3 more championships in a row? Those picks you don't know will work out. Would it be the Bucs or the Thunder that are more reluctant? If you're Oklahoma
Thunder,
if you're Oklahoma City, why?
Yeah, and
one loss,
it does not guarantee the next 3 championships.
Yeah,
so.
why?
There's no such thing as a guarantee.
Of course.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, Oklahoma City's record was 21-1.
Yeah.
If you erase contracts from it, sure, but they're already going to have enough trouble maintaining and re-signing their own core, and it would lesser your future draft capital that you would be able to use in deals to facilitate maybe a younger star.
And the flip side to that is your draft choices that the Bucs are going to be getting back are going to be lousy draft choices. They're going to be deep
Depends
in the
on
20s.
whose picks, right? I mean, it depends on whose picks because they have picks from everybody from everywhere at every level. But
if it's their picks, if they're, they wouldn't be protected picks, but that would be silly. But if you're Oklahoma City, the only reason, there's only one reason to trade for Giannis, and that's to keep him off other teams that you would be competing against. If you're Oklahoma City, you don't need Giannis.
No.
Look at that. Have you seen that roster?
Are they going to go undefeated? You know what I mean? That's like, that's the question. How much better can they possibly be? I don't think they can.
Great question.
Better.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the NBA. They're coming off their first NBA championship. They've got the league's MVP. They've got a frighteningly young roster. They've got a frightening amount of draft capital that they can work with. You don't need Giannis. There are a few teams that I would just look at and say, nah, we're good. You're not, would you get better with Giannis on the floor? I suppose, but he also demands the ball a lot. And I don't know that would, chemistry is a lot as well. And Giannis has to be the focal point. He goes to Oklahoma City. He ain't the focal point.
Yeah.
There is little reason.
How old is Giannis? 30 or 31?
Yeah, 30, 31, somewhere in there.
Yeah. The oldest player on Oklahoma City's roster is 31 with Alex Caruso.
Yeah.
Like he'd be the oldest guy on that team.
Yeah. Happy birthday tomorrow to Giannis. Wait, Friday?
Right.
The 6th. Today is Thursday. It's Saturday is his birthday.
Saturday.
So
tomorrow is Friday.
He'll turn 31.
Yeah.
It's not a knock against. It's not a knock against Giannis. It's just that
reality.
Sure. If you're Oklahoma City, if you're Sam Presti and John Horst comes to you with that trade, if you're Sam Presti, you're like, with all due respect, we're good. Thanks. It doesn't make, from Oklahoma City's perspective, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, just because they have all those draft picks and all the capital doesn't mean they need to get rid of it. It doesn't mean they can't keep it.
Yeah.
And the issue with where the Bucs are now positioned is teams are way more likely to make a more significant trade before a season, before they know what they've got, before they know where they're at. Now you're talking about trying to convince teams that are middle of the pack that Giannis is going to take them over the top. And they're deciding on, okay, if we're middle of the pack, are we best to maybe see things through, roll this thing forward? Maybe we aren't in playoff contention. We get a better pick. We end up in a better spot for years to come. Or do we potentially roll the dice and go for it this year? And I don't know how many teams are in that position. Issue also is no one in the Western Conference is going to be obliged to do it, in my opinion. The East is where you probably need to find a team to take him because you can convince them they can win the East.
That's true.
Who in the West is going to take him? The Rockets are in a position where they can't, and they're very competitive and really good. The Thunder won't. The Lakers won't. Now you're talking about, okay, can you get a team like the Spurs to sell off one of their super great young players and assets? I don't know. And can you play him alongside Wemby? How would that work?
Again, anywhere Giannis goes, he's going to want to be the focal point, right?
Yeah,
that's definitely what superstars are. And I'm not saying that he is a role player at this point of his career. I think he's kind of stuck in that middle area a little bit because on the Bucks, he's a focal point. He's the focal point. On the Bucks, he's clearly the best player, but he also wants to win a championship. He has played well with other ancillary players, but even when Damian Lillard was here for a while, when they did have the opportunity to play, there was, I wouldn't call it lack of chemistry because they didn't dislike each other. It's just that Dame was a focal point on a bad team in Portland for so many years. And, they had some regular season success, never really that much postseason success, never got to the NBA finals or anything like that. But when Dame got to Milwaukee, it was, there was some difficulty in him knowing what his role on a new team was going to be. And Dame shined when Giannis was unable to play, and then vice versa almost. They were almost more successful without. I understand why they made the trade, because you need two superstars that can work in concert with each other, and that's a rare thing to have. Shaq and Kobe might be the best example of two flat-out lockdown superstars that didn't necessarily love each other at the time that they played together, with each other, but they knew what each other could do, and that's how they won all of those championships. Even the Miami Heat, as great as the Heatles were, when they got Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh to pair with LeBron James, LeBron was used to being the focal point, but so was Dwayne Wade. And for a certain extent, so was Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was clearly the number 3. He'd never been a number 3 in his life before. And there was a little bit of struggle there. Yeah, they won a couple NBA championships and they got there 4 years in a row, but they should have, if you're old enough to remember when they unveiled the Heatles, it was like, we're not going to win 1 or 2 or 3. And you start,
not 4,
not 5, not 6.
8 championships. No. Like you weren't even there for 8 championships.
You were there.
You were there for 4.
You were there for 4, and so sometimes things that look great on paper don't always bear that out when you get it in practice on the floor or on the field.
That's why we play the game,
and that's why we play the games.
That's right. So. And it's a terrible shame that the Bucks couldn't put together some sort of special run this year. Like the East is so wide open. The Pacers are out of it because of injury. Celtics are limited by Tatum being done for the year. The Magic haven't taken the leap that people anticipated. I think the Pistons are the Pistons until they do something special. I know their record is great to this point, but last night showed they're definitely not, unstoppable. Cleveland's not where they want to be. I mean, in the East, you're looking at a conference of teams that are still just shuffling, trying to figure out who the hell they are. Which makes them more likely to make a trade to acquire Giannis. And I don't know if Bucks fans or the Bucks in general want to keep him in conference. Like, then you have to go through him for years to come if you find any sort of viable roster.
No
thanks.
Yeah, listen.
The big if on finding a new viable roster.
Right. I think the Bucks would never say this, but listen, John Horst is no dummy. He understands what he's up against right now. He understands that they have mortgaged the future to try to run it back one more time. I admire the swing. I don't criticize it at all. Sometimes when you have a championship, you have to take some suck on the back end, and that's, there's unfortunately a little bit of that's starting right now, and it could get worse before it gets better, but you'll always have 2021.
Yeah.
So I think that he would like to trade Giannis, get as much as he could back, but not have the PR blowback. And that's the challenge right now. And you also, to Nick's point, you don't necessarily want to trade him to the East. But is there a taker in the West that you could get something back in return for?
Yeah. And here's the thing, too, to keep in mind as we're talking about how horrible the season has been and, looking to trade him away. The Bucks still currently sit in a chance where they can make the playoffs or in the play-in tournament for the playoffs. But still, you can get in the dance still. And with how open the East is, even just getting in, who knows what can end up happening once you get to April, once you get to the postseason. You know, is it particularly likely? No, that they end up advancing and make it to the NBA Finals. But again, the East is wide open, and even with how bad they have been, they still are currently sitting in the dance. So, you know, you got to kind of maybe hold out a little bit of hope too if you're John Horst that, you know, you get Giannis back. You know, maybe this team can find a little bit of rhythm, get themselves at least a little bit better, and so they can get themselves there and maybe hope you strike some luck, because the East is that wide open that it could happen for the Bucks if they have Giannis with them.
Well, the East has been bad and certainly worse than the West for a while, and they haven't gotten to the top. I mean, they did in 2021, and that was it.
Yeah,
and
but you've also had injuries the last couple of years.
So yeah, when you said, and who knows what happens. I raised my hand. I said, I do. They lose in the first round. It's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a good enough upside to win in a 7-game series. Like, that's the issue. If they were asked, hey, can you win a best of 3? Yeah, sure. But I don't think whoever they face is not going to be able to figure out this roster in 7 if needed.
But we were also saying that about when they faced the Nets in 2021. You know, it's like, no, they're not going to be good enough. The Nets are just too good. They got so much talent. They got Durant. They got all these guys. They're going to be so good. And sure enough, they ended up winning. And again, as we talked about, yeah, we think they're not good enough. And yes, the past couple of years, they have not been good enough to get out of the first round. But a lot of it is about timing, because we saw the injury last year to Dame. We saw the injury, to Giannis
Middleton
before that.
Middleton, yeah.
You know, like you've seen those injuries happen when you get there. And yeah, when you don't have any of your top 3 players like that, when you're missing one of them, yeah, you're not going to be good enough to win a 7-game series in advance. But maybe this year, maybe they end up being healthy enough. Giannis is healthy and back in time in April, and they have their full strength of players heading into that first round. And who knows, maybe their opponent doesn't. Maybe whoever it is that they're facing, whether it's the Cavs or the Hawks or the Magic or whoever it is that you want them to face, maybe their star gets hurt heading into that series. You don't know. April is so far away. You got plenty of time until then. So much can happen between now and then, and you're still in the dance because it is so wide open.
Dan in Waukesha writes on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line, I'm sure you've covered this. We haven't, but I'm disgusted to be a Bucks fan this morning after all the comments on social claiming that Giannis is faking this injury to force a trade. This man has given everything and resurrected the franchise. I realize social media is what it is, but I'm embarrassed to be a fan today. Dan in Waukesha. I haven't seen it on social. I'm not surprised by it. Social media is a sewer. I wish it wasn't, but it is. One of those things that you say, don't ever read the comments. Don't ever read the comments. Probably a smart thing. I agree with Dan from this standpoint. I don't believe that Giannis is faking anything. I think he's overused because he plays international ball as well. And that's part of, international culture, because you look at soccer players, they play their international. I mean, it's baked into their schedule every single year. It's not in the NBA. I've said for years with the way that Giannis plays, I hate the fact that he plays for the Greek national team. I hate it. I hate everything about it. And then people come back to, well, do you want the American players from your team playing for Team USA? No, I really don't. Really didn't love Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday playing in the Olympics right after they won the NBA championship. Didn't care for it really at all. Maybe that makes me selfish. Maybe that makes me a bad American. I don't know. The international competitions to me don't mean squat. It's the team that is paying your salary. But that's important to Giannis, and it's important for the Bucks to keep, and has been important for the Bucks to keep Giannis happy.
Yeah.
But it takes a toll on these guys. The wear and tear that international play takes. There's a reason. First of all, the 82-game schedule is too long to begin with, and the playoffs are too long. You're playing too many basketball games, and then you throw international competition on top of that. You're never getting a break. Basketball has never been more physical. So that's why I don't get all up in arms with when these old heads say, well, I never had load management or anything like that. The game's played differently than it was back in the day. It is so much more physical. The wear and tear on these guys is so much greater than it ever has been ever before.
Yeah, and that can lead to calf strains,
And that
such
can
as
lead-
one we saw last night.
And that can lead to calf strains, and that can lead to injuries. And that's why you got Giannis constantly with these load management nights when and when he gets injured.
Yeah, and now everyone's favorite NBA insider, Shams Charania, around these parts, he is reporting in the last half hour here that Giannis is expected to be sidelined for approximately 2 to 4 weeks.
Of course he is.
With that calf strain.
The hits keep on coming.
Yep. Well, I mean, when he first went down, I think a lot of us thought, oh no, Achilles out for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that, but still the next 2 weeks to a month.
Mm-hmm.
He's out.
Yeah,
so.
give him the month.
That's
honest.
Great.
Yeah, this has got to be more towards the 4 weeks, I'd imagine.
I would think so, because
why would he want to get back out there?
Well, I mean that's the other part of it. I don't think you're wrong. I mean, that's why I hate the fact that he plays international basketball, because it feels and has felt like that's more important to him than the team that pays his salary. Sorry. I said what I said.
Well, there is something to be said about that. That's fair.
Yeah, give him a 4-week break. Let the body recover here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he needs to be healthy. I mean, if you're going to try and trade him, or if you're going to try and go on a run, you need to ensure that he's in a position to be 100% or as close to as possible. So, whatever it takes.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think he's faking. But anybody who thinks that he's faking,
Giannis is way too much. Giannis is way too much of a competitor to fake an injury just to do that.
Yeah, so
way too competitive.
But again, social media, as Dan said, and I agree with him, it is what it is, and what it is a cesspool. Is a cesspool.
Yep.
It is the low. I mean, it's the
Sometimes
lowest,
the internet was a mistake.
It is the lowest form of communication there is. Yeah, the great thing about social media is everybody gets to have their own voice. The worst part about social media is that everybody gets to have their own voice.
Yep, exactly.
The internet giveth, the internet taketh away.
Sometimes the internet was a mistake.
Sometimes it was. All right. We'll hear
dang it, Al Gore. What are you doing making the internet? We blame him. It's all his fault.
That's a yarn from about 25 years ago.
I'm an old soul, Doug.
Well,
You've told me that
that's
yesterday.
True. You are.
Yeah.
All right. It's D.N.D, Doug Russell, Nick Bruswitz, Dave Gasper. We're going to hear from Matt LaFleur, Packers head coach. He was at the podium not long ago. We'll play back that conversation with reporters from the auditorium in just a couple of minutes. It's still fresh. They're getting out on the practice field right now. So we'll get the thoughts of the Packers head coach leading up to their huge game against the Chicago Bears on Sunday at 3:25, nationally televised game of the week on Fox. Kickoff, of course, we'll have it for you on the Packers Radio Network. Packers game day starts at 11. But Matt LaFleur is coming up straight ahead. Stay with us on the game.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Ravens have agreed to a 3-year extension with tight end Mark Andrews. The deal is worth $39.3 million with $26 million guaranteed, according to NFL Network insider Mike Garafolo. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels is practicing, but is still working his way back from a dislocated elbow. Head coach Dan Quinn says they'll wait until Friday to determine whether Daniels can play on Sunday or not against the Vikings. Elsewhere, Chiefs left tackle Josh Simmons had wrist surgery and has been placed on injured reserve. Simmons suffered the injury on Thanksgiving and will now miss at least the next 4 games. And 5 individuals have been announced as finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026. Coach Bill Belichick and contributor Robert Kraft made the list, as well as seniors Ken Anderson, Roger Craig, and L.C. Greenwood. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
It's the most consequential matchup in the rivalry in over a decade.
Obviously, Chicago's the number one team in the NFC right now, so this should be a great game.
Packers-Bears, Sunday at 3:25.
When you got hired, you said you had enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. Why was it important for you to get across the Packer rivalry to the fan base?
It's a big week. It's a big week. We know how important this rivalry is, so just wanted to address that.
We're getting you ready for the matchup all week on The Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Hall & Oates songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Kiss on My List. Number 2, You Make My Dreams. Number 1, Man Eater.
Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes. She's a man eater.
Hear more from Hall & Oates and similar artists. Favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In May of 69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released a double concept album, Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
He was my favorite table. He can't beat my best. His disciples leading him, and he just does the rest. He's not crazy, flipping fingers. Never seen him fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, play across my big brass bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement that includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
Soldier Boy, tell. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called the Soldier Boy. You gotta punch, then crank back 3 times from left to right.
It was kind of an all-timer when Bo Ryan was doing this on the Jumbotron.
Oh,
back
yeah.
in the day, if you recall that, about a decade-ish ago. Maybe it was longer than a decade ago. Maybe
Yeah, like 2 decades.
wasn't that long ago. I mean, when Bo Ryan did it on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
We'll look that up on the YouTube.
Crank That Soulja Boy. Let's see. It came out in 07.
I'm not saying when the song came out. I'm saying
He
when
did
Bo
it in
Ryan.
07.
Bo did it in 07? Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking at the video on YouTube posted October 17th, 2007.
All right, I stand corrected.
I mean, 18 years ago. I guess it's not 20.
I thought it was. Time is a
That's
flat
why I
circle.
don't remember it, because I was 6.
We know. We know. If radio shows were cradle robbers, welcome to D.N.D.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. The Packers. We were talking about the Bucs. The Packers taking on the Chicago Bears on Sunday, 3:25 kickoff on the Packers Radio Network. The Blaine Larrabee and Larry McCarron in the booth. John Kuhn on the sidelines. Packers game day with me starts at 11, live from the Miller Lite end zone at Lambeau Field. Here's Packers coach Matt LaFleur ahead of today's practice.
Tennessee.
You guys good? I think we're good. That's Matt LaFleur, Packers coach, meeting the media before practice today. The Thursday practice, they'll have another one tomorrow. That'll be the injury update. That's when we do the over-under as far as how long it's going to be. I don't know how I'm feeling this week. Last week, we went under.
Yeah, we did. But we went also a little bit higher on the line.
Went a little bit higher on the line, but he also went pretty significantly under, though, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was almost a minute under. I mean, I think he only clocked in at about 3 minutes and 20 seconds or something like that.
Something like that.
I mean, it was a
brief.
quick one.
Yeah. No, he spent plenty of time making fun of Bill Huber today.
You know, it's the repartee, the back and forth that they have.
That means he likes you.
It does.
I wonder if he's ever asked anyone to stand up and give him a spin like he did to Dave. Pat Murphy did to Dave this year.
I don't think he has. I also don't think he's done the Soulja Boy like Bo Ryan did.
With LaFleur, no. Matt would. I'm not going to say that most
That would be
football
like,
coaches
what's the
don't have.
Soulja Boy?
I'm not going to say that most football coaches don't have a personality. I'm not going to say that, but most football coaches don't have much of a personality.
And then there's Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
And then there's Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's got a personality.
He does. He's kind of leaning into old man at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah,
back in the day.
Sirianni would definitely do this.
Sirianni would do this.
Ben Johnson would do it shirtless.
Andy Reid would try it. And Andy Reid's got a personality. I got to think of what NFL coaches
who are
have the
chefs?
biggest personalities.
Great googly moogly.
Right. I mean, that's the difference.
Sean McVay.
Bondoruski.
I don't know. Does Sean McVay have a personality, or is he just football?
His personality is just football.
Yeah, his personality. That's why he and LaFleur are cut from the same cloth. Their entire personality is football.
I think McVay might be a little bit more fun than he might let off, but
that's because he's in Los Angeles.
Sure,
maybe.
What's wrong with Green Bay? What the hell, Dave?
Yeah, what the hell, Dave?
I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Green Bay.
Dave hates Green Bay.
Yeah, it's clear now.
Wow. Okay. I'm not a fan of Los Angeles, just so you guys know.
We have heard that. Although, Dave Roberts and you agree on something. What? We'll hit that coming up straight ahead. It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
Soulja Boy, tell. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called the Soulja Boy.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Queen songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, We Are the Champions. Number 2, We Will Rock You.
You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you.
Number 1, Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
Hear more from Queen and similar artists now. Search for Queen on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of 67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number one hit with The Letter.
Ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone. I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Don't keep me waiting here. Lead me to
The Beatles released the Phil Spector-produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 number one hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final number one, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes number 2 UK and number 9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House. And British band Mungo Jerry are number 1 in the UK, number 3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
Have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first number one with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970 coming up.
Classic Cuts.
Steppenwolf's 1968 road anthem, Born to Be Wild, didn't spring full-blown out of nowhere. It wasn't even written by a member of the band. But there was a connection to the group, as singer John Kay explains.
It was written by Mars Bonfire, a fellow who had been a guitarist in another band that preceded Steppenwolf in a sense, that I'd also been a member of, the Sparrow. When the Sparrow went its separate ways, I then asked the Sparrow drummer and organist to join me and 2 other fellows in LA to form Steppenwolf. Mars had written this tune for one of his solo projects, and he brought it to his brother, Jerry, our drummer, and we liked it well enough. We worked up our own arrangement of it.
Born to be wild. Born to be wild.
We're at the 2-minute warning. Halftime coming up in just a couple of moments. In hour number 3, we'll have top of the hour sports update with Dave Gasper. We'll hear from Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Joe Bartle will get you some fantasy football help. I've got a quarterback conundrum because both of my guys are hurt.
Oh, it's tough.
Herbert's going to play. Don't worry.
Okay. Good news is your playoff spot is already clinched.
It is clinched.
Yeah. Mine's not quite yet. I'm currently in the picture, but not clinched.
You know, we were so close to having Spencer lose last week.
So close.
But yet.
I almost took him down, and then, you end up with an injury to Baker Mayfield. And then this past week, all my guys are doing great. I, cruise to a great win. It's like, and then Spencer, he has a tough time. It's like, I could have beaten him this week.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah, he could have. Spencer's had a couple of rough weeks, but he still remains in first place.
I'm leading the league in points.
Yeah.
And I'm in 5th.
Well, I did see that. We kind of vacillate because I was leading the league in points for a while. I think I'm 3rd right now. But you're in 5th place with the most points. Hey, it happens. But you know what? It bodes well for the playoffs.
It does. I just need to get myself in the dance.
Well,
just like the Milwaukee Bucks. You just got to get yourself in the dance. See what happens.
Dodgers are in the dance every year.
They are. And Dave Roberts actually agrees with Dave on something, which
I know. It's incredible. I almost got to change my opinion now. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
No. But Dave Roberts going on Amazon Prime's Good Sports with Kenan Thompson. As
I didn't even know that was a
interviewer.
show. There's so many shows.
I did not either. And they asked him about a salary cap, and he said, yeah, I'd actually be in favor of that. As long as you also get a salary floor. He pointed out the NBA, the relationship that they have with, the league and the players, and how they got revenue there. And it's like, yeah, as long as you have a salary floor to make sure that the bottom feeders spend money too.
How does our sports socialist feel about all of this?
I'm all in, man. I want everyone to have equal opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's no way you're going to get a cap without a floor in Major League Baseball.
Fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
I think
put it in.
I think
make the Pirates try to spend money.
I think the floor is even more important than the cap.
And the Players Association has always said that there shouldn't be a floor because that's their excuse by saying, but there also shouldn't be a cap because we want these players to make as much money as possible. Yeah, but if there's a floor, it means that there can't be teams that are sandbagging. It means that you can't have like the Pirates or the Rays or the A's or any team that doesn't want to spend any money to put a legitimate,
but they know a floor is a pathway to a cap, because if they try and push for a salary floor just kind of out of the blue, MLB owners are going to counter saying, well, fine, but we're going to put in a cap then.
There has to be
some give
market correction, and the Players Association has held it over the owners for so long. The owners have to be the ones, if this is ever going to happen, to your point, and you've made this point for the last couple of months, Dave, is that it's going to be painful, but that's the only way to
Hal
fix the problem.
seems to be coming out in favor of it. If the Steinbrenners are in favor, that says something.
Now just get Mark Walter on board. Hour number 3 coming up straight ahead. Stay with us on the game.
You are listening to D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
California's Creedence Clearwater Revival released their debut LP, which contains the number 11 single, Susie Q. And in August, American band Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit in the UK with Moni Moni. It goes to number 8 in the US. And the Doors have their first number 1 album and their second and last number 1 single with Hello, I Love You.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
In November of 68, Van Morrison releases his second solo album, Astral Weeks, and Joe Cocker has a UK number 1 with his cover of the Beatles with a little help from my friends.
Don't you know I'm gonna make you my friend?
And in December, Motown holds the top spot with number 1 hits from Marvin Gaye, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Supremes with Love Child. The Beatles released their first single on their own Apple label, Hey Jude, back with Revolution. The over 7-minute song went to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968, coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Elton John songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Tiny Dancer.
All the clubs are tiny dancer. Count the headlights on the highway. Baby darling, she's so landing.
Number 2, Rocket Man.
I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man. Burning out the fuse out there alone.
Number 1, Benny and the Jets.
She's got a baby boots. I'm more than food. You know I'm better than a magazine. No. Benny and the Jets.
Hear more from Elton John and similar artists now. Search for Elton John on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about performing live.
Going on stage was when I could show off and be comfortable. And you know, I was always a bit timid off stage. And the stage gave me an outlet. And you'll find that with many performers, where they be dancers, actors, singers, musicians. They have the outlet on stage to become the person they're not off stage. And I think that's what eventually led to my troubles, along with the drugs and the drink, is that the person who was fast becoming popular as Elton John and becoming, you know, the #1 rock star in the world, had kind of escaped from the person off stage, and the balance was completely off kilter. And the more I became successful, the harder I worked, and the less time I concentrated on being normal or trying to be kind of normal. But people who knew me privately were shocked, I think, at what I was doing off stage. Rather, you know, they knew what I was going to do on stage, but off stage they were shocked and disappointed.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Your attention, please. We are the gang and the home of D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Weekdays from 10 to 2, live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Watch the show on YouTube, Facebook, and X by searching 97.3 The Gang.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, the Milwaukee Bucks yesterday, news breaks that Giannis is talking to the Bucks about facilitating a trade out of Milwaukee. Then Giannis leaves 3 minutes into the game with a calf strain. Bobby Portis talked afterwards about Giannis's spirits.
What's so crazy is Giannis the first person that texts in the team group message. Good job, fellas. Way to get a one. You know, it's a way to get one. So I haven't talked to him personally, but in the group message, yeah, he's the first one to text, congratulating us on a win. So hopefully he's feeling better, feeling well. I haven't seen the video yet either, so don't know what it looked like and how bad it was. But I'm praying for him, always in prayers, and hopefully everything is okay.
I mean, I would kind of hope Giannis is the first one to text in the group chat because he's already in the locker room and has his phone on him. The other guys probably shouldn't have their phones on them.
Good point, yeah.
The text is like, wow, you actually won a game without me.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And it was the Pistons? Wow.
Whoa.
What? Yeah.
I didn't know you guys had this in you.
Yeah, what Bobby didn't say that it was all sarcasm.
Yeah.
It was a text. I mean, we can all read it in different ways.
Yeah. Bucks win 113-109. Giannis is expected to be out 2 to 4 weeks with that calf strain that he ends up going down with. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, when he already missed a week with the groin strain, and now he's got the calf strain, going to be another couple of weeks. It was the week that he was gone with the groin strain. It was bad enough. I mean, they lost like every single game during that stretch, and yeah, so the next 2 to 4 weeks might be brutal. The Walter Payton Man of the Year award nominees are out today, and QB1 Jordan Love is the Packers nominee this year for the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Okay. I would like to see a Packers player win the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
That'd be nice.
Award
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy and Armin talked about it this morning, getting that Walter Payton on your uniform and playing against the Bears with Walter on the Packers uniform.
Oh, that would be so sweet.
That'd be beautiful.
That would be so sweet. Let's see. I mean, as far as guys from Wisconsin that have won it, J.J. Watt won it. He got to wear it on his uniform for a little while.
Russell Wilson, not a native of the state, but
Yep.
played college ball here.
Yep, played one fantastic year in Madison. Yeah, I mean it's an honor. The NFL says it's the highest honor that the league can bestow upon a player. Now, I went to the during the bye week Pro Football Hall of Fame. They've got a whole Walter Payton Man of the Year display, like a whole room full of artifacts and memorabilia for the Walter Payton Men of the Year. So yeah, I mean it's important to the league.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Some other nominees include Max Crosby for the Raiders, Cameron Dicker for the Chargers,
Dicker the kicker,
Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend,
Beyonce.
Sorry,
come on
my
now.
bad. Sorry. Got to update.
Yeah, don't
Don't
disparage their relationship.
Derrick Henry for Baltimore as well, and another J Love, Julian Love for Seattle, and Baker Mayfield in Tampa.
There's 2 slam dunks for this award. When Warwick Dunn won it, we didn't realize until the story came out that over the years, because his mom, if I'm getting some of the details wrong, I'm just pulling this kind of out of my rear end and the back of my memory. His mom was a police officer, I think, who was killed in the line of duty. Or did she raise him by anyway, whatever it was. I'm probably conflating a couple of things. Bottom line is Warwick Dunn paid for like 100 plus houses of single mothers in the Tampa area. That's the bottom. Whatever caused him to do that, the result was he paid for like 125 houses for single moms raising kids which is unbelievable. He was a slam dunk. And then when JJ Watt won it, it was after Hurricane Harvey, and he raised all like $100 million.
Yeah,
that's right,
in relief for the Houston area.
Yeah, that one was an easy choice.
Dunn's mom was killed while working off duty in 1993.
Okay, so I at least got some of that right. All right, good.
At the time, Dunn was just 18, and he suddenly became the head of the household. With the mother's life insurance, they bought a house for his siblings and vowed to help others, and clearly he did with the story that you just outlined and how much money he raised for single mothers.
Yeah. So that was a
So-
slam dunk, of course.
Yeah, so hopefully Jordan Love can get the win this year. Elsewhere in the NFL, Darius Slay is considering retiring rather than playing for the Buffalo Bills, who just claimed him on waivers after the Steelers let him go. He took one look at, wait a minute, what's the forecast in Buffalo in December?
Yeah.
I think I might just retire.
It's an interesting storyline there. Famously really good with the Eagles. They placed a claim to acquire him off waivers, but the priority went to Buffalo.
Okay.
So I think his plan was to be cut loose from Pittsburgh and end up back with the Eagles, and the Bills just
said, nah,
ruined the
we'll
plan.
take you.
So they have his rights.
Good for the Bills, though. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Because
Why just let the Eagles have him?
That's why the waiver claim system works.
Yeah.
It's because there are priorities, and you can't just pick and choose where you want to go if you're not a full free agent. That's why, waivers is an important thing.
Yeah. So he is considering.
I hadn't heard that story, though.
Yeah. He's considering retirement. Badgers basketball wins last night over Northwestern, 85-73. Badger volleyball NCAA tournament begins tonight. That tournament begins 3-seeded Badger volleyball team against Eastern Illinois at the Fieldhouse. So we got that game going on here tonight.
And they'll play, or whoever wins, whether it's Wisconsin or Eastern Illinois. So there's 2 matches that are at the Fieldhouse today.
Yes.
The first one starts at 4:30. That'll be North Carolina against UTEP. And the winner of that match will play the winner of tonight's Wisconsin versus Eastern Illinois matchup.
Which will be
Let's go
30 minutes
UTEP.
after the conclusion of the preceding match.
Go Miners, picks up.
Let's get a UTEP win tonight so that you can celebrate that. And then tomorrow or whenever they play next, it's
Friday. That'll be Friday.
Yeah.
Curtains.
Yeah, there you go. Elsewhere in college athletics, former Wisconsin quarterback and Sam Houston quarterback Mabry Montoyer is entering the transfer portal.
Good
And
call.
so he's heading back out. He followed
Okay.
Phil Longo, and then things didn't go so well for Sam Houston this year, and now he's heading back.
Did they go
into the
winless?
transfer portal? Oh, they might have.
Sam Houston, is that that's in Nacogdoches, Texas, I think?
What did you call me? I have no clue.
The name of the town is Nacogdoches. I believe it's Nacogdoches, where there is a town called Nacogdoches, Texas. I believe
went
that's where
2
Sam
and
Houston
10.
State University is. if I'm not mistaken.
Huntsville, Texas.
Oh, it's in Huntsville. Oh, where the prison is?
Sure.
Okay, I just thought that was a killing town. They
Apparently-
actually have a university
or at least
there.
a stadium is
okay.
there. In
I thought that was in
Huntsville.
what's in Nacogdoches. There is a university in Nacogdoches. I don't know what it is though. Clearly, I don't know my Texas that well, but yeah, I do know
That's
Huntsville.
okay.
Huntsville is where the prison is. Huntsville's where they,
So they beat Oregon State.
That's Stephen F. Austin in Nacogdoches.
Stephen F. Austin. Oh, okay. I got
Very close.
Yeah.
Steve, and what did Austin do to you? Why F him?
That's a line.
That's very Ted line there.
Yeah.
F. Scott
Exclusively Ted,
Fitzgerald.
too.
What, Scott Fitzgerald?
Yeah. Like, and they beat Oregon State with Mabry leading the way with 43 passing yards.
Wow.
And he led the way with
That's a good
29 rushing
That's a
yards.
Wisconsin quarterback right there for you.
When you say leading the way,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
a
like
relative
Sean
term.
West leading the way in Badgers passing.
Also, what a conundrum. At the end of the year, it looks like Landon Locke, Braden Locke's younger brother, started the last 3 games.
Oh, wow. How did that
Landon
go for
Locke,
him?
they went 1-3.
That's 4 games, not 3.
Excuse me. Yes.
Math-
They
Dave,
went
math is
1-2.
Yeah.
They went 1 and
Math live on the
2.
air.
I just misspoke. 1 and 2. I was looking at his passing stats. He had 281 passing yards against Middle Tennessee, which was the season high for the team. So maybe they're moving forward with Landon Locke at QB.
Hopefully he's better than his brother. But
Hey, come on. Braden wasn't that bad.
he threw interceptions every single day.
I think
Always
we
at
had
the
a-
worst possible
If
time.
we had Braden Locke this season, I think the Badgers would have won one more game. That's just not. It's not a necessarily a testament to his ability. I think it's more of a reflection on what we ultimately saw at quarterback here at Wisconsin. I think Braden Locke. I think that as much as Hunter Simmons is probably a really nice guy, I think Braden Locke's a better player than him. So you're talking about an opportunity to maybe pick off one more victory.
the good news is that the quarterback room in Madison can be completely reshapen over the next however long.
Again?
Yeah.
Well, it has to be. I mean, everybody played this past year,
I'm
right?
just asking if it's good news. And,
It's good news because we didn't get anything from it this
So,
year.
Yeah.
This season, Braden Locke had 15 pass attempts with Arizona, 68 passing yards, no touchdown, 1 pick, a QBR of 1.0.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
not 0.
Still not great.
On the bright side, I mean, Tucson. Listen, I love Madison. I love Tucson though as well. So I don't. It's not like he had to live in Huntsville.
Huntsville, yeah.
I'd rather live in Tucson than Huntsville. I'd rather live in Madison than either of those two. But
Yeah.
I mean, at least he didn't have to go to Huntsville.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
true.
listen, that's what Huntsville, Texas is known for. It's known as the killing town. It's known as that's where they, that's
What do they
that's
kill?
where the prison is.
Yeah. That's where the firing squad is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's back in the transfer portal once again.
Oh,
so
good-
we'll
good
see
for
where
him.
he
Maybe
ends up going. And MLB free agency, kind of their own transfer portal. Kyle Tucker apparently taking a visit of the Blue Jays spring training facility yesterday.
Okay.
I don't know why there's all these like, oh, we're going to visit the spring training facility
Gotta
as if
spend 6
that's
weeks
going
there.
to make a difference.
Well, 6 weeks,
in
man.
terms of where they sign. Like, I feel like it's always the Blue Jays in their spring training facility. It's always guys touring there, and then
Is that closer?
It's
Like,
in Dunedin.
Well, that's
It's
by
in
Tampa.
Florida.
That's
Yeah.
Tampa.
Yeah.
basically.
Is he I can't quite remember where Kyle Tucker's from. Something tells me he's from down south. So maybe that's closer to his
Well,
family.
a lot of guys,
he's from Tampa.
live-
Kyle Tucker's from Tampa.
Well, there you go.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. I mean, and if he's not going to sign with the Rays,
Which he's not.
the Rays are kind of going through it right now a little bit.
Yeah. Kyle Tucker's going to get way too much money.
Correct.
The Rays are not going to pay him.
Correct.
For that,
Although they did
but-
get you sold finally, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Now,
So
whether or
got-
not they stay in Tampa or go to Orlando, I don't know.
The
Yeah.
Twins need to sell. Did you see any of that
Yeah,
yesterday? I was
they're in
looking
a
at-
ton of debt, and they're trying to offload Byron Buxton just because they're in so much debt.
Which one of
Well,
our
wait a minute.
pitchers should we move?
They hit a
Pablo
grand-
Lopez.
They hit a grand slam. They got the most desired manager that was on the market.
Oh yeah, Derek
Oh, I-
Shelton. Everyone was knocking down his door.
Based
I
on,
think Derek was like, "I'll do the job," and they're like, "Okay."
Like sweet,
based
someone
on
with
You're hired.
experience.
based on his stellar resume in Pittsburgh.
Nobody else wanted to be in that situation probably once they, okay, so by the way, we're going to have to offload Byron Buxton and Joe Ryan and maybe Pablo Lopez as well.
Just
you
because
willing to
we're
do the
so
job?
broke.
Sure, I'll do the job.
So basically, we're gonna make this team about as good as I had it in Pittsburgh.
Before MLB, I mean, I know that Rob Manfred has talked about wanting to expand Major League Baseball, and Nashville and Portland have been talked about as potential cities. Charlotte's been thrown in the mix as well.
Yeah, Salt Lake.
Listen, you got to fix the teams that you already have, and I think that they finally figured it out. We'll see how Vegas goes with the A's. But the Tampa Bay Rays are. I mean, they've had the worst stadium, along with Oakland, when Oakland was a thing.
Yeah.
Not that the Sacramento, nobody wants to play in Sacramento right now because it's a minor league stadium, but they've had the worst stadium situations in professional sports over the last several years. Before you expand, fix what you got.
Yeah. And in order to do that, you need to put in a salary cap. So says me, and so says Dave Roberts.
You know what? I'm all right with that. I think the NBA has done a nice job of kind of revenue sharing with the players and the owners. But if you're going to kind of suppress spending at the top, I think that you got to raise the floor to make those bottom feeders spend money too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okie doke.
Yeah, that's Dave Roberts on
Tell it to
Amazon
your
Prime.
Tell it to your owner. Tell it to Mark Walter. Tell it to the guy who writes your checks.
Yeah, tell it to Andrew Friedman. Tell it to the GM. Like, you gotta let's put that in place, because Dave, if a salary cap comes in, you might end up losing some of your superstar players, and you can't just, re-sign a role player like Miguel Rojas for $6 million.
Yeah, you can't have 3 MVPs in your lineup.
Yeah, 3 future Hall of Famers, and then you also put 3 Cy Young winners in your rotation. Like, you're not going to be able to afford that without it. So it's going to make it a little bit more difficult on you to manage, Dave Roberts. But hey, the more people on this boat, the merrier. I'm fine. It's like, okay, you know what? You want to come on? Like, let's go.
Dave Roberts has 3 championships now?
I think so, yeah.
As a manager.
Yeah, manager and player.
He's got his 2020
3 as a manager.
2020 in the last 2 years.
Manager, yeah.
Nobody wants to remember COVID. I get it. But
no.
He's got nothing left to prove anymore, because for a long time he did.
Yeah.
Like, well, you've been given everything, and why can't you win a World Series? Well, now he's got 3 of them. So
yeah, because he
can spread the love a little bit. Yeah. Now he can spread the love a little bit.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers have won theirs. Now it's time to kind of have a regression to the mean, because everybody now, unless you live in Los Angeles, absolutely despises the Dodgers.
Yeah, because he said, let's really ruin baseball.
And their contracts are grandfathered in, right? In all likelihood. So they're going to maintain their roster.
We'll see. Yeah.
No, I mean, if you sign the contract, there's no way. There's one line in the sand that the Players Association will not ever cross
I'm not
or
saying,
negotiate.
I'm not saying that their contracts are going to become void, but would they be forced to be traded? Like, that could be a possibility. In order to get themselves under a cap, would you have to trade like a Blake Snell in order to get yourself underneath?
Here's my
they signed $1 billion contract with
that's kind of more what I'm looking at.
I don't think so, because you do have to have some sort of protections in that when this whole new CBA gets negotiated, all of these deals, I mean, you can't force somebody to trade somebody to someone else who then would have to take on that salary if that team can't afford that salary.
But what if you have that salary floor in place? Like, for example, the Tampa Bay Rays or the Pittsburgh Pirates, where it's like, hey man, we need to get ourselves, an extra $20 million whatever dollars in order to get to the salary floor. Hey, look, there's a bunch of money in Blake Snell that he's already getting paid. The Dodgers need to offload him. Could ship him over here.
I think that there will be protections in place to keep all contracts in place while they are
still active.
It's kind of like when Major League Baseball retired number 42, but if you still had it, you grandfathered in.
Yeah. And Mariano
Rivera rode that out for the next 20 years.
Yeah. So it's possible, but again, we'd have to see it actually happen. We'd have to see them negotiate it and see that get put in place. And that's not going to happen for quite a bit. CBA isn't up until next year. And then you're likely going to have a very long winter and perhaps long spring and summer. To see what ends up playing out there.
Hopefully, wherever you live, if you're living in Madison, you got the Mallards, so you got some Northwoods League baseball.
Yeah,
if you live in the Milwaukee area, you've got 2 American Association teams in the Milkmen and the Lake Country Dockhounds. And dependent upon where you're living throughout the rest of the state, if you're in La Crosse, you got the Loggers, I believe.
La Crosse Loggers.
La Crosse Loggers.
Eau Claire, you got the Eau Claire Express. You got the Northwoods League all around.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know how that will affect the minor leagues. I know we're on in Appleton as well, so I don't know what that means for the Timber Rattlers because that's organized baseball. But I think the minor leaguers aren't part of the Major League.
They're not
Baseball
part of the
Players
union
Association yet.
Well, I thought they actually did get brought in to the Players Association recently. But I'm not sure if the lockout would include them.
But if the majors go on strike, how does that affect organized affiliated baseball? I don't know.
Yeah. How does that affect those minor league teams?
Because I hope that the Timber Rattlers are still a thing for our listeners on the Score in Appleton.
Oh, for sure. And I'm not entirely sure because we haven't seen MLB actually lose games since 94. And I'm not sure how that all went back then.
Well, they've lost games. They just haven't lost a lot of games. They've lost a small handful of games here and there.
For lockouts?
Yeah.
What was it, 20 something?
Yeah.
2015.
It was a minor work stoppage. They lost a couple of games here and there. It wasn't significant. Or they started late. And
they started late and they had to
truncate it a little bit. Maybe that's what they did.
Yeah, they took out maybe a couple of off days or something like that, but they didn't lose any actual games the last time. I think the only time they did was 2020 with COVID.
No, they've threatened a few times.
2022 opening day was pushed back.
Opening day was pushed back, but they still played 162 games.
That is right.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah. All right.
But the calendar got condensed.
That's true. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
point of order.
Yeah. Still point of order.
It's all good.
Yeah. Smack.
In 81, they canceled 713 games.
I'm aware. I was 8. It killed me.
I just learned that
it just absolutely killed me. I'd wake up every day asking my mom if there was baseball yet. No, not yet. Okay.
Why isn't there baseball?
Why isn't there baseball yet, Mom?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us may be asking that in the next year or so.
Right. When you're 8, though, that's when
when you're 8, yeah. So it's just like, come on, guys, let's just all get together and agree and play some baseball.
Yeah.
But
what's the problem?
Money.
Always
money
is
the problem. It
always money.
Is. Yep.
Speaking of money, Chris in the band, it made me laugh. Made Nick laugh too. He responded to him.
That's right.
Tyreek Hill has provided houses for numerous single mothers versus award. Now now there's a difference between
ding the bell.
Yeah, there's a difference between voluntarily doing it and having it court ordered.
I think that's right.
I think that's the difference. There's a difference.
Antonio Cromartie.
There's a difference when it's your kid as opposed to someone that you're not related to.
Stephon Diggs would win that Tyreek Hill award this year.
Maybe there should be a Tyreek Hill award, the Antonio Cromartie award,
the
Sean Kemp award.
Yeah,
what
is that?
Guys, it's called a condom. It's not that hard to use.
There's a science award for the giant mistakes, like the terrible.
The Darwin
mistakes,
Awards,
like Darwin.
Yeah, the Darwin Awards. If somebody dies in a stupid way,
the NFL's equivalent.
Yeah.
When someone's like, "Hey, I want to go to Yellowstone and get a selfie with a bear," and then they get mauled to death.
Usually it's the bison at Yellowstone, but yes,
the bison. Yeah.
Either way. I'm gonna go pet the fluffy cow.
Yeah, the fluffy cow does not want to be petted.
No.
Yeah,
they tell you don't pet the fluffy cows.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna hear from Jordan Love coming up in a couple of minutes. Packers quarterback from yesterday met the media. Portion of his comments. We'll also hear from RotoWire's Joe Bartle. Get some fantasy football help. And you can start the process early. Last couple of weeks, we've had people call in or text in on the nicklaylaw.com talking text line at about 12:51. That's too late to get your question in. If you want to get your question in, get them in now. They'll just stay there in the talking text line. We'll accumulate them, and then we'll ask it for you. Otherwise, you can call in, of course, at 877-794-1973, but not for a few minutes. Jordan Love is next. Joe Bartle is after him. It's D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, Dave Gasper on this Thursday, December 4th, 2025, on the Game Radio Network.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D. will be back in just a moment. The Packers host the Bears in a battle for the top of the NFC North on Sunday. Stay with us all week as we have the best guests and conversation previewing the matchup right here on The Game.
We should talk about after this game is over, regardless of who wins. That handshake between one Ben Johnson and one Matthew LaFleur, that's must-see TV right there. I mean, that's going to the levels of the old school LaFleur, Mike Zimmer.
Yes.
Post game, and I need Fox to have a dedicated camera, and the director cannot cut away. I need to see it
because I want
to see it.
And I also, after watching, I told Armin about this earlier on during the off day yesterday. My nearly 3-year-old son said, "I watch Bears Packers. I get ready for the game." So that was a good heartwarming moment. Them doing things right. And last year, it would have been a great moment for it because LaFleur's coming off a dapping up Carl Brooks down there in Chicago, celebrating, hooting and hollering, and all of a sudden he has to go and shake hands with Ben Johnson, who'd be frosty as all get out. Or conversely, so Johnson celebrating with Santos after the win.
After the win in Lambeau,
everybody was tearing off the jacket of Brown, who had just won his first game as an interim coach on I think his 9th try. So like there's good reason to know that either coach is going to be, because I think the game's going to be decided at the end. I know it's a 6.5 point number at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, but I think it's going to be a tight game. Yeah. I think it ends on potentially the last play, Nags, like the 2 games did a year ago.
Yep.
And it really does set up for a good frosty moment.
We are getting you ready for the matchup all week on The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
I love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. Don't you listen to what the man said. He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
Come on with me, tramps like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with a cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their 9th studio album, Terrapin Station.
Terrapin, in the whistle is screaming, Terrapin.
In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley is found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his 2nd solo album, Lust for Life. It's his 2nd collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his 5th album, The Stranger. It goes to number 2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to number 3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
The entire world watched.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And humanity saw that the sky was not the limit. Achievement, pass it on, from the Foundation for a Better Life.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Yeah, do you have a record scratch But we can just, because, I mean.
Yep, that's me.
And they stay there, yeah. The Brewers tweeted out their new, what they teased yesterday. It's the definition of mid. So they teased us with the powder blue uniform yesterday. I thought it was going to be their City Connect uniform. Instead, they have come up with the most uninspiring, mediocre, just that they could have possibly come up with for their uniform. Is this what they're going to be wearing on this is their regular road uniform now, or is this an alternate, or what?
It's a new alternate road uniform.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's replacing the current blue alternate or current blue road uniform. But yeah, powder blue road alternate uniform.
So the only uniform that I ever actively truly hated that the Brewers ever did was that when they tried to make like that champagne beer color.
The 90s one?
The one in the 2000s.
Oh, the bile, the gold one?
Yeah, the one that looked like vomit.
Yeah.
That one was, I actively hated that one. I normally don't just actively hate a uniform. I hated that uniform. This is right behind it because it's so uninspiring. It's take their gray uniform that they wear on the road, which is fine, and then just make the top blue. That's it. And like,
that's all they did.
That's all we did. That's it. Good. Okay.
Genius.
This is perfect. No notes. Oh, I've got notes.
Yep. We've got notes.
You had a chance to do something and you and you do this?
Yeah.
This is what you landed on?
We're not even doing powder blue pants along with?
No, it's still the gray pants.
That's horrible.
The same hat, the same uniform design. It's just blue. You had a chance to do something and this is what you landed on? Mid.
I wonder what the other options were.
Mid.
You know, that they thought this was the best one.
Mid. What?
Very mid. Yeah.
Maybe it's just so that they can use the gray pants. Like it's just you wash them. You don't have to have a whole new set of blue pants involved.
I mean, it would have made more sense. You
can wash blue pants too.
I mean, it would have made.
Yeah, but they could just use the same pants in the other uniforms as they do in this alternate uniform.
They still wash them after each game.
Famously.
Right. Jason Chager still has a job to do.
Produce the blue
Val
pants
Frelick's
at all.
still getting the pants dirty every single game.
Yeah.
There's no necessity to produce the blue pants is the point I'm trying to
But
make.
what I'm saying
is
there is because this just looks wrong. If they would have at least put the blue pants on, and then I would have at least said, well, it's not my favorite, but at least I get it. But the light blue top and the gray pants, it's like it just clashes. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
How did you land on this?
And we decided on this for the road? Not even wearing the powder blues at home?
Well,
they want to be distracting.
Got to wear the whites and the creams. I mean, they sometimes the Brewers come up with genius, like the going back to the ball and glove genius.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pocket pancakes, genius.
Pocket pancakes, genius. The cream, the home cream uniforms.
Yeah,
chef's kiss.
Yeah, the tailgate grill logo.
No notes.
Yeah,
but this, I want to hear from Jordan Love. I'm just.
Do we have time for that?
What are we doing?
Yeah,
we probably don't. We'll do it in the next hour.
Yeah,
we'll do that. We'll hold Jordan Love until the next hour because this is like breaking news, but this is like broken. This is like busted news.
Yeah, it's
John in Fitchburg likes them.
Well,
Doug, get off my lawn, Russell.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. They're
better than the gray.
But but listen, you still have the gray. That's the problem is you still have the gray on the bottom. The pants are still gray. It's half gray, half blue. I don't mind the blue. What I do mind is that they were just completely unimaginative as to what the blue was going to look like.
Yeah. And there's nothing else different about it from the gray uniforms except they just swapped the color.
I'm not saying that the blue, if it was blue on blue, it would be awful. It's just, so that's what we landed on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
You could have gone with something really clean and really just fantastic and something that was just special. And instead it was like, okay.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Cool, I guess.
I guess so.
All right. We're going to give you some fantasy football help coming up. Good call keeping me on the clock, Nick. Appreciate you.
Distracted.
A little distracted. Joe Bartle from RotoWire is going to come up next. We will have Jordan Love coming up in the next hour as well. But we had to get this busted news in there before anything else.
Of course.
Keep them coming on the fantasy football talking text line, 877-794-1973. Joe Bartle coming up straight ahead. Stay with us on D.N.D.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game. The Packers host the Bears in a battle for the top of the NFC North on Sunday.
I mean, there's a lot that's to be said about, the Bears and how they're doing right now. And, they've put together a hell of a season. But, at the end of the day, I feel like, we all understand if we, go out there, put our best foot forward and play our best ball, that we don't feel like there's a team in the league that can hang with us. So, it's definitely going to be a big game. There's a little extra hype behind that in that sense. But as a team, we all understand the type of game that it's going to be.
Stay with us all week as we have the best guests and conversation previewing the matchup right here on The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Boston band Aerosmith released their debut album. It fares poorly. It would be re-released in 76 and yield a top 10 hit, Dream On.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, right on that.
Elvis Presley's live TV special, Aloha from Hawaii, is watched by more than 1 billion people worldwide and introduces the world to the rhinestone white jumpsuit. In February of 73, Alice Cooper has a #1 album with Billion Dollar Babies, along with 3 top 40 singles. Elton John also has a #1 album and his first #1 single with Crocodile Rock. Paul McCartney and Wings have a #1 single with My Love, and the Stooges signed to Columbia Records and released their final album, Raw Power, produced by David Bowie. In March, Pink Floyd releases the now legendary Dark Side of the Moon. It goes to #1 and becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time.
And everything under the sun is you, and the sun is a great spot.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their 5th album, Houses of the Holy. It goes to #1 in the US and the UK and yields the top 20 hit Dire Maker.
But I still love you so, and I can't let you go. I love you.
The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Runnin' and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album buoyed by the single Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of 73, George Harrison scores a #1 single, Give Me Love, from the #1 album Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to #1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me and Feeling Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen for Summer Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Duane Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to #2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the band on the run. Band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings, Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, get a new drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number, and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
If you have a smart speaker, listening to WISN has never been easier. Just tell Alexa, Google Home, or Siri on HomePod to play 1130 WISN on iHeartRadio. Then sit back and enjoy the excellence.
Okay, so the Brewers jersey reveal is going over, as you might expect on Twitter. Let's see, Kevin, huge miss of no blue pants. My favorite one is these look like someone played an exhibition game on MLB The Show, closed their eyes, and then flipped through the uniform selection screen and then hit play.
Yep.
Yeah.
They would look better. Listen, if it was blue on blue, if the pants were blue too,
Yeah.
it would be better.
That would work.
But blue on gray is like, what? Huh?
Yeah. Not a fan.
Not a fan. I mean, I'm just not a fan of the combination, the two-tone combination. What I am a fan of is the fact that I clinched a playoff berth in fantasy football.
Congratulations,
last week.
Doug.
Thank you.
I'm working on it.
Pat myself on the back. You're working on it. You have more points than anybody else, but it's time now to get some fantasy football help from our friend from RotoWire. We welcome in Joe Bartle to the proceedings on D.N.D. Joe, appreciate the time. How are you today?
Yeah, happy to be on. I think it's going to be a really fun Week 14 slate. There's going to be some weather involved, and I think some overall good games too. So let's see if we can clinch some more playoff spots here.
Let's do that. I know Dave is on the cusp.
I got the most points in the league, and I'm in 5th place.
Again, that bodes well for you for the playoffs, I believe.
If I can get in there, I'm facing Josh, and Josh is in 7th. Yeah. He's so if I lose, I think Josh is in and I'm out.
Well, that's why they play the games.
Yep.
So I guess the most there's no I in team, but media starts with me. So I will ask about Lamar versus Justin Herbert again, as I ask you every single week. They both have their injury issues. Lamar has not been great recently. I did wind up benching him in favor of Justin Herbert, who broke his hand. So am I screwed?
Non-throwing hand,
but am I screwed?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, credit to you. I was sitting here last week saying I'm not worried about Lamar Jackson at all. And I watched that Thursday night game and being like, all right, yep, you're right. Joe Bartle wrong once again on this one too. And there will be people that tell you that was the healthiest he's looked. And I guess I haven't been watching closely enough to be able to make that determination, but that was not anywhere near healthy Lamar to me. And it's frustrating because I look at the RotoWire strength of schedule tool on the site right now. It's like, here are the guys you want to have entering the fantasy postseason. Top among the quarterbacks is Lamar Jackson based off his schedule. At running back, it's Saquon Barkley. He's been incredibly disappointing as well too. And then there's like Jalen Waddle at number 3. Tua is one of my top quarterback streamer options last week. He should have had a good matchup. Didn't do well in that either. So I don't know what the solution is. I do think in this case, I don't know if Herbert plays. They play Monday night. I would rather have Lamar over Herbert just because of that. But there's one league I'm playing Tyrod Taylor over Lamar Jackson because I need to get 15 to 18 points. And I don't know if Lamar Jackson can do that or when he'll be able to do that. So, yeah, probably the answer is, at least for this week, with Herbert both banged up, possibly unavailable, but going into the Eagles defense and the way that Lamar's been playing, I don't know what you're really supposed to do at quarterback there.
Yeah, and to make matters potentially even worse, I mean, Lamar didn't practice today, so we shall see what's next for him. Joe, well, we have you. We got some listeners texting in their questions. I think there's one here that you're going to dismiss immediately, and then another one that I think will be a little bit more worth your time. One gentleman, Red Hot Timnot, says, do I drop Justin Jefferson this week just to sabotage someone? I'm in second place and will be going into the playoffs.
I mean, I'm not dismissing it. I think it's a fun idea. I love having a poison pill coming from our division rival Vikings. Yes, that's fun. No, I wouldn't drop Justin Jefferson. The issue is really that outside of maybe 13 wide receivers, you could make an argument that Cortland Sutton is in the same spot as Justin Jefferson, is the same spot as Christian Watson, as the same spot as like 5 other guys that are in that same range. Like I just finished up recording a video talking about my 4 must-start receivers, and I was struggling to find 4 that I thought were must-start outside of the obvious ones. I don't want people to watch a 7-minute video and be like, "Oh yeah, Joe, yeah, that was obvious," but gosh, it's really hard right now. So you're not dropping Jefferson, even if it would be fine to have somebody else pick him up and play him and get 8 points as opposed to you being frustrated about it. But I don't know how you can confidently play Jefferson other than to say it feels like there's a bunch of other receivers in that same sort of tier too.
Yeah. And while we're on it, sorry, I just want to get this last question. Love or Stafford? Which one?
I'll take Stafford. I think in that one, Cardinals defense not been very good. I think Love will be just fine. I mean, I don't know if the weather report is going to hold, but it looks like it'd be single digits Sunday afternoon in Lambeau. The Packers have done kind of weird things in weather conditions like that before, but the way to beat the Bears defense is to pass the football in my mind. You know, they've got corners back. So I hope Love is more involved, but I would still play Stafford.
Okay, so back to the wide receivers here, Joe. So, you know, I'm in a battle here, you know, trying to ensure that I can get myself into the playoffs. I got 4 wide receivers that are worthy of starting, I think, but only 3 spots to put them in. So I got to leave someone out from this group. Who should I leave on the bench between Devontae Adams, Emeka Egbuka, A.J. Brown, and Jamison Williams?
Yeah, that's a great question. I
Yeah,
think
it's a good problem to have, but yeah,
I think it's probably AJ Brown of that group.
Okay.
I kind of want to say Emeka Egbuka, but I think that Buccaneers Saints game is going to be weirdly pretty important. I think the Buccaneers will have to passing the ball a decent amount, and Baker looks fine enough with that shoulder strain, or the AC joint, or whatever it was. So I think it's probably AJ Brown on the bench. I need to have Jamison Williams in there. I need to have Devontae in there. That's kind of how I would shape that as well too. So, and make sure, because the Lions play the Cowboys here Thursday, make sure Jamison Williams is a starting receiver and not a flex play to give you some flexibility if you just need to come Sunday.
Ooh, okay. That's a great piece of advice there, Joe. Thank you. And then a running back, I'm kind of, all I've got are Tony Pollard and Bam Knight as left to go between ever since Cam Scotty went down.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you. Hey, Bam Knight had a pretty solid one last week. Pretty solid game.
He did, and actually, it's a really good point. Trey Benson, who I liked a lot last year, I was in on both Blake Corum and Benson as rookies, and that didn't pay off. But Benson was supposed to be the prodigy after James Conner went injured. Well, had a meniscus tear back in week 5, had surgery, still isn't available. And at the end of his 21-day activation window here, he has not been practicing either yesterday, and I don't think he's practicing today. So I think Benson might be done the rest of the year. And if that happens, then Bam Knight should be picked up and used. I don't really know if he should be in these sort of settings now, but I think at that point, Bam Knight's been getting a bit more volume. I think if you think the Cardinals can replicate what the Panthers did last week, Bam Knight has to be a factor as part of that. And if he's not, or if they can't, hopefully he gets a bit more volume as a pass catcher.
All right, so you know what my quarterback quandary is. How do you feel about C.J. Stroud, who's the best available quarterback in our league right now, just as an emergency 1-week type of proposition?
Yeah, that's a good one. I've had to default to him in a few leagues as well too. I don't want to play against anyone at Arrowhead with the playoffs on the line. I think Stroud's going to be probably around 200 yards, maybe throws a touchdown. He'll give you a floor, which is fine. That's why I go back to Tyrod Taylor. Is probably my favorite 1-week streamer this week. I do think Stroud, though, both week 15 and 16 in the fantasy playoffs, actually in a really good spot where he could be low on quarterback 1. Arguably, I think if I remember the Chargers schedule correctly, I would probably play Stroud over Justin Herbert, even if he was fully healthy from the Sam thing. The issue would become, do you play Stroud over Lamar Jackson? And gosh, I don't know what to make with that call. It would be great to see Lamar Jackson just look good once. Please, over the next month and a half once, but I don't know. But Stroud over Herbert probably over the next 2 weeks maybe makes sense.
Done and done.
Joe, I got a unique question of sorts, and it's on moral grounds. I'm in a position where I would feel I'm the 2 seed. I am the 2 seed no matter what happens this week. And I think my postseason bracket looks better if I lose. Like, am I wrong to potentially intentionally lose this week?
Well, I know you are a super sports fan. Can you tell me in the history of all sports that you've watched, has it ever worked out for anybody in any other sports where they've like deliberately try to tank and make their matchup better?
How I see it is this: it's week 18 of the NFL season. I already got my spot secured. I'm playing the bench guys. My result doesn't matter. You're essentially losing on purpose.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, when has that ever worked in regular sports?
All right. Well, I'll play it out.
But
I'll play it out.
Joe.
I'll continue to dominate, and then it'll be okay. I'll still be the 2 seed no matter what. I shouldn't be fearful. I'm a really good team. I'll beat whoever.
Why would you bench your guys, though? I mean, it's not like you're resting them.
My thought process is this. If I allow myself to beat the team I'm playing this week, I think they're the greatest threat in the playoffs. If I beat them, I see them in the playoffs before the championship game. If I lose to them, they're the 4 seed. I'm the 2 seed. Worst case scenario, I would see them in the championship.
Okay. I mean, listen, you've had a couple of bold takes today. And if
I'm a bold guy. I'm a bold guy. I actually got a decade ago, my buddies ripped on me because I told a guy that they couldn't do that. As commissioner, I said, no, you can't purposely lose. That's not cool.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been corrupt commissioner in that league. So I handed over my commissionership 2 years ago. I'm now just league president that oversees everything.
What do you think of Chris Olave? He's got a back injury. He didn't practice, it looks like, on Wednesday. You know how serious that injury might be?
Yeah, the fantasy community has dubbed this as Dude's Day, which is basically the bad teams or good teams, when they have a dude that they're relying on, they just get a day off and get a rest. That is my understanding of the Chris Olave injury, and we're going to see a lot more Dude's Days as we get towards the end of the regular season, especially for these teams that aren't very good. Chris Olave doesn't need practice time to be able to be one of the best receivers in the NFL, and I think that's sort of what's happening. To my understanding, at least right now, more of the injury reports probably come out about an hour, but I am not alarmed at all about the Chris Olave injury.
Joe, Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield this week?
Yes, I actually had this just a bit ago in the Berlin office. I was talking about this with a colleague. I think Baker will have to pass the ball, and the Buccaneers are going to be in a dogfight with the Saints, or at least it'll be competitive entering the fourth quarter. Like, Baker's a totally fine play, in my opinion. I think you still have to play Sam Darnold, though. I know that he had a bad game against the Vikings because Max Brosmer is one of the worst quarterbacks of all time. That was a Vikings issue. That was not a Seahawks issue in my mind. So I think Sam Darnold, who's been very consistently 240 and 2 touchdowns in that range, I have better faith that he'll do that as opposed to Baker meeting that range for the Saints. Arguably, both are in a good spot. I'll default to the guy that's been doing it more recently in the case of Sam Darnold.
Joe, in regards to maybe best course of action with a team heading into the postseason, where do you stand on the bench and how you should operate your bench heading into the playoffs? Are you in favor of you maybe dropping some guys you wouldn't start in favor of stashing potential handcuffs, or do you think you roll with it as talented of a group as possible across the board and essentially not necessarily bank on injuries?
Yeah, somebody seems to have read my waiver wire article, which I posted on Monday at RotoWire, but I actually go over this exact same thing. When you already have a guaranteed spot in the playoffs, it's different if you're still trying to fight through. When you know what your roster is going to be, the way I would utilize the back end of my bench, and I would say, like, maybe there's probably 2 or 3 defined bench guys. Let's just say you have 6 spots. You know what 3 will be. I'm picking up the Blake Corums of the world, or Ray Davis, the backup for the Bills. I mentioned the Cardinals backfield as both Michael Carter and Bam Knight, for example. What I don't want to happen, what I fear the most when I enter the fantasy postseason, is the unknown. This is already a game of chance and a little bit of luck, and we're not involved at all in the game plan, so we don't really know. We're just going off numbers. I don't want to add an extra element in there that my opponent might be able to benefit. And a case in point, I think it was 3 years ago, but it could be wrong now. Austin Eckler, when he played for the Chargers, was injured back in week 16. Justin Jackson, the backup running back, became a top waiver wire pickup and got 30 fantasy points for that 1 week and 1 week only, and won people leagues because of that. If I can remove that element from my opponents getting that opportunity, I want to do that. And I'll get rid of the Keyshawn Booties or the Troy Franklins or the Harold Fannons of the world, who are good, valuable players, and it matters to have depth. If those people are going to be obvious starters for people in the playoffs, that's a little bit different. But for the most part, if the 6 teams that makes the postseason, they're not relying on those. I want to remove every element of chance that my opponent might be able to benefit from, and I can't.
Tight end's been a bugaboo for my team too. I've got Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews. I don't love either one of them, but does either one of them have a market advantage over the other this week?
I think the metrics would say Mark Andrews. I agree with you. It's been very frustrating. He was supposed to have a great game against the Bengals last Thursday, and of course, it was Isaiah Likely's game. He fumbles the game away, really, from a fantasy perspective, and for the Ravens as well too. I would probably play Mark Andrews against the Steelers defense. I don't really know how that game is going to shape up. Kyle Pitts has been getting a bit more volume with Drake London out. I think we're seeing London miss at least one more week yet, at least this week. And against the Seahawks, it's like I know that T.J. Hawkinson technically did fine. I thought that was more of a Brosmer thing than the Vikings game planning stuff for Hawkinson last week. I would rather play Andrews over Kyle Pitts, but it is a coin toss.
Yeah, kind of is. Joe, we appreciate the time. The playoffs are either here. Well, I don't think the playoffs have started, not for us yet, but they're starting in a couple of weeks. And I've clinched my playoff spot. Yeah, I'm sure there are some leagues that have started already. Yeah, I'm sure there are. But good luck to Dave trying to get into the playoffs this week. But we always appreciate the insights and selfishly the help, because you help us out every week.
Oh, that's what we are going for. Hopefully everyone here listening is going to be in the fantasy postseason. All I care about, though, as a blue-blooded Packer fan, is the Bears still suck, and I'll be
yeah, baby.
And that's what I need to have happen. So that's what I'm rooting above all else.
Thanks, absolutely. Fight about RotoWire, Joe Bartle.
That's how we're going to play him out here.
Let's play him out. Let's play him out in style, and that's how we'll end hour number 3 of D&D. We'll hear from Jordan Love coming up in the next hour, Bruisers Bites, and also from 24/7 Sports, Nick Osen. That's Joe Bartle from RotoWire. We always appreciate his time and insights here on D&D.
They've been a little lame. How could you ever love a team with Jim McMahon? Not even Porky Pig was as big a him. They got a reputation that's mostly based on luck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck.
You are listening to D&D with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game. Don't miss D&D Middays here on the game.
You can't go back in time, but when the hiring happened, it was universally hailed as a coup. Wisconsin got a coup. They got the best coach available. They got the best coach who wasn't even available. They got the best coach in the country. He was the AP National Coach of the Year, the reigning AP National Coach of the Year. He had just gotten Cincinnati from a group of 5 conference into the college football playoff before it had expanded. It's easy now to go back on it and say it was a mistake. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. But at the time is the only time that you can make that decision. We don't live in a world where you can go back in Marty McFly's DeLorean and go back and change things. That's not how the time continuum works. But what you can do is change the course of history moving forward, however that may be. It's easy to go back and say, you know what, that decision should have been different and you screwed that up. But when the whole world is telling you that it's the right decision and that it's a home run, that it's a grand slam, that anyone else would do it, I just can't get on board with people saying that McIntosh should be hammered for hiring him in the first place.
D&D with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Middays here on the game.
A shark took her arm, but not her teenage desire to be a surfing champ. So next time life puts a little fear in you, just think of Bethany Hamilton hanging 10 on top of a heavy wave. That's real courage. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
Born to be wild.
In January of 1968, Steppenwolf released their debut album, including the single Born to be Wild, which charts at number 2 in the U.S. Johnny Cash records 2 live shows at California's Folsom Prison, along with June Carter and Carl Perkins. Also in January, the Beatles are number 1 with Hello Goodbye. In London, they launched their own company, Applecore, with a store, a recording studio, and record label. February of 68, Pink Floyd lead singer Syd Barrett is checked into a psychiatric hospital and the band replaces him with David Gilmour. The Beatles, Donovan, Mia Farrow, and others travel to India to study transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Bill Graham opens the Fillmore East concert venue in an abandoned New York City theater. April of 1968, the musical Hair opens on Broadway for the first of 1,750 performances. It would spawn several top 40 hits, including Aquarius, Good Morning Starshine, and Hair. Simon and Garfunkel released their album Bookends, which goes to #1 in the US and the UK. The single Mrs. Robinson would go to #1 in June, thanks to the movie The Graduate.
God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968, coming up.
If you missed No BS, you missed out on this.
If you ever have jury duty, both the defense and the plaintiff, they can pick the jurors together.
Thanks for that reminder. I've actually never gotten to do jury twice.
I got it 3 times.
I got it twice. Once on my 18th birthday, and I went through the entire trial process, and at the end, they cut one person. I was like, of course I get cut. I sit through all this, and I don't even get to be a part of the decision-making process.
No.
I was so mad.
Yeah, I had it 3 times already, Billy.
Jeez.
What's going on here? You know what I mean?
I'm an outstanding member of society.
You want to do it?
Pay taxes.
I love that
You don't want to do it, Billy.
Yes, I do. Okay. I want to perform my civic duty.
I love that.
Everybody sits around and gripes about it.
You're right.
I want to perform my civic duty.
You know what?
Court system. I'm right here.
First
my
time.
wife gets the notification of the summons this week. She is complaining up and down.
Can you be her tribute?
I can't do this. No, you can't volunteer as tribute. I looked online. I was ready to Hunger Games that thing. Walk right in there. I volunteer as tribute. My wife's got 2 kids at home, basically running a preschool in our living room. I just make jokes on the radio. I will be the guy that potentially has somebody's fate in their hands, and they don't want that for some reason.
You know, I'm proud of you, Billy. I'm proud of that attitude. That's the correct attitude to have.
Be honest with you, I had to hold back from swearing a couple of times because I think it's bull. It's BS, like the name of the show. 31 years on this earth. I've been available for 12 of them.
Come on, Milwaukee.
They've only given me 1 time as the reserve guy. I called in every hour. I was so juiced. I was dressed.
Sure.
I had a fake briefcase ready to roll down there. I know you can't even bring anything in.
A collared shirt on.
Yes.
Look like Hunter Bumgarner.
We're going to offend him?
I don't know that I have ever worn a collared shirt tucked in outside of in a suit. Your boy was suited and booted, ready to roll down there.
So proud of you, man.
To the courthouse.
Yeah.
Call in, automated voice message. The reserve jurors are unneeded for the afternoon of 4/19/24. Dang it!
Listen to No BS with Billy and Armin every weekday from 6 to 10 right here on The Game. Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are The Game.
Where do we go from here now that all of the children are growing up? And how do we spend our lives if there's no one who
Where was this on your Spotify?
It actually was not in my Spotify Wrapped. I know. Great song, but I have it in cart deck here. I do not have it in my Spotify.
I know this is an old song. Who is this?
Games People Play by Alan Parsons Project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard this song, like I said, for 45 years, but I just never clocked it. I'm not a huge Alan Parsons
fan.
He's all right. I mean, they're all right.
Yeah. Big Micah Parsons fan. That's
huge
for sure.
Micah Parsons fan.
Yeah.
100%.
At least now. I mean, prior to August, not quite as much.
My top, I finally found out. So my Apple Music was just spinning yesterday.
Oh yeah.
My top 3. I finally got my top 3.
Okay.
Fleetwood Mac, number 1.
All right. That tracks.
That tracks. Followed by the Beatles and then Casey Musgraves.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I like Casey Musgraves.
Yep.
Yeah. My top, it gets so skewed by my gym playlist. My top artist was Fall Out Boy.
Okay. I get it.
So, and I had like a couple of like other ones like
they're drummers from Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
Menominee Falls, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was like Kendrick Lamar or something was like on there too. I'm just like, I don't listen to a ton of Kendrick, but
I don't listen to a ton of music at all in general. So mine was very skewed by the fact that I was preparing for the Morgan Wallen concert that I attended in July or June. Morgan was number 1. I drive in my car is almost exclusively the only time I ever listen to music. So Gracie Abrams was number 2. I share a car with my girlfriend, and we I like to listen
Sabrina
to things
Carpenter on there as well.
she was not, and Zach Bryan was last of my top 3 because I like his first album almost exclusively in comparison to the rest of his music. So I was like less than half of the time spent that my girlfriend had listened to music. So
what was her? I mean, so does hers skew it? So like, I assume
hers was Morgan Wallen as well at the top. Tate McRae, and then one more Taylor
Grace
Swift.
Okay,
yeah,
and some Gracie Abrams in there too.
I had like Steve Aoki in there. Like I'm like, I don't listen to it, but yeah, against the gym, My Chemical Romance too. I'm like, oh wow, I got the emo phase
That's
in
good,
there.
Man.
Carrie Underwood, of course, because Carrie Underwood. But yeah, and typically Shania Twain's in my top 5. This is the first year in like a long time Shania Twain has not been in my top 5.
I guess I haven't looked at my top 5. I only looked at the top 3.
Dude, there's so much. Like
I'm getting.
Do you use Apple?
I use Apple.
Okay. So Spotify gets you.
I'm an Apple guy.
I'm an Apple guy. Yeah.
Benson Boone and Kanye. There we go.
There you go. Okay.
Love me some Kanye.
Clip that.
You notice how I said Kanye, not Ye. Okay, there's a pre and post.
Even Kanye still has.
I mean, you were talking about, some of the proclivities of some like Chris Beard, for example. I mean,
yeah.
Tell me what Kanye
it's like,
did.
no, I don't like those guys, but Kanye, love me some of that.
Words are one thing, okay? Kanye's words are egregious.
Words matter.
Yeah,
words matter.
But I think most would agree that words are comparably not as bad as physical abuse.
Well, actions do speak louder than words. Famously.
That's fact. So
yeah. Why don't we move on to Bruiser Spice?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Here we go.
This is what's called a lifeline.
Yeah,
that's right.
Smoothly transitioned there. Well done, Doug.
Thank you.
We started with our favorite artists and ended up with spousal abuse. It's a typical path that people go on in conversation, I guess. Bruiser's Bites, though, always brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. wiconcretecoatings.com. Talk about a squeaky clean record. They're the best. So don't worry about them when you visit their website, wiconcretecoatings.com. You'll see nothing short of great work that they do and can do for you in your garage, on your outdoor deck patio, in your basement. They'll do cabinetry as well in the garage. I know a couple of guys who have done work with them, and their garages look pretty damn sweet. So visit their website, wiconcretecoatings.com. Gosh, I got such a mixed bag today. Let's rip the Band-Aid off for those that haven't heard it already twice today. Here's Doc Rivers on if Giannis has ever asked for a trade.
So here we go again. There's been no conversations. I want to make it clear just I would say one more time, but for the 50th time, it clearly is not getting the One Network for sure. Giannis has never asked to be traded, ever. I can't make that more clear.
I don't believe you.
Lies.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm supposed to take Doc at his word. He's the head coach. He knows him better than I do. He knows him better than Shams does, and Windhorst, and name your guy.
Head coaches never lie, right, Lane Kiffin?
I find it hard to believe that Giannis has never potentially broached the idea of a trade. He says here he's never asked for a trade. That's possible. He's never said, hey, I want to be traded. But I also think it'd be crazy to say that he has never even considered it or had conversations with the team about it. If the Bucks were to trade Giannis, and they only got draft pick value in return, right? Like some marginal players, but most of it is player value in potential picks.
Yeah.
Would that be a route that you'd be okay with? Or does it have to be Giannis in return for a significant player in addition to draft capital?
I guess it depends, right? Because what are we talking about? Are we talking about unprotected 5 first-round picks? Or are we talking about 3 protected first-round picks and maybe a potential NBA, somebody who could turn into an all-star? I don't know. It's a delicate balance. You want to build for the future because you have to build for the future. And at some point, almost everyone that turns into a superstar is the draft choice, not always, but more often than not is the superstar of a team that drafts them or trades for them as a rookie. Like Kobe wasn't drafted by the Lakers, he was drafted by the Hornets, but it was a draft day trade. Dirk, same thing, drafted by the Bucks, but traded, he was drafted for the Mavericks and then traded from the Bucks. Ray Allen was drafted by the Timberwolves and then traded for Stephon Marbury, who was never going to be a Buck, but the Bucks drafted him. That's not, I'm just talking about guys that you get on day one, whether it's a draft day trade or not. More often than not always, but more often than not, those superstars are homegrown superstars. So that comes from draft choices, and the Bucks don't really have any that they control for a while. And they did what they had to do, in my opinion. I'm not faulting the team for that, but this is where we're at right now. We're on the back end of a championship run, and it feels like it sucks because it kind of sucks, but this is the price you pay. I don't know that there's an empirical answer to that question. It's a good question. It's a very legitimate question. I just don't know that there's an empirical answer to it.
Yeah, the Bucks find themselves in a very difficult position. I mean, in terms of trading Giannis, I mean, is it getting to that point where you're going to have to consider it if you're the Bucks? Yes, but also you can't really do it unless Giannis does publicly push for it. But then you get the reports that he's pushing to get traded, but then Doc's like, no, that's not quite true, and all the other players are coming up being like, no, that's not really what's going on here. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's really kind of not much maneuverability for the Bucks through this spot, and they're going to have to try and find some way through it. But either way, it is going to be painful.
Bear with me. I am on the wrong graphics page.
We can do the whoosh ourselves.
Yeah, you guys do the whoosh.
Yeah.
What is going on over here?
The blue circle of death.
Well, we understand that we are having some technical issues right now.
We got it.
So
got it.
We're working on. We've got our best people on it. Hunter.
Yeah.
Technical issues are being worked through.
Okay, peek behind the curtain. Anytime anything goes wrong, we call the station. Hunter, what do I do?
And then you tell him what's wrong, and he says, "Oh, geez."
Yeah.
If anybody can fix it, he's our guy.
Yeah. Well, Hunter's working on fixing the stuff that might be wrong there. I'm the one responsible for what just went wrong here. So let's get back on track. Just like the Badgers did last night with their victory over Northwestern. John Blackwell, 26 points in the victory, 23 of which were in the first half. This is Greg Gard on his star guard in Madison.
He's a worker. He's in the gym a lot. He's made himself into a really good player, and he's playing on a really good team. So I'm just happy for him because he's put in a lot of time, and he's overcome a lot of doubters when nobody else was lining up really to recruit him. So I never get too wrapped up in who else is recruiting somebody. When we're in that, you trust your eyes, you trust your gut, and it obviously has served us well with him.
We spent a lot of time talking about, how satisfactory the Badgers have been in the transfer portal with their additions over the last few seasons, most notably AJ Storr. And last year you saw John Tajay take it to the next level. And this year we're feeling pretty good about Nick Boyd, Austin Rapp, Andrew Rohde. But something has to be said about Wisconsin still being able to develop well. And I think John Blackwell's most recent example of developing a player into being a star here at Wisconsin.
Yeah, Blackwell's been great. 26 points last night, 11 rebounds. He's everything. Rohde struggled last night, though, too.
Assists. Look at his assists. Andrew Rohde.
Yeah. Missed all of his shots. But yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But 9 assists.
9 assists, great.
He recognized his shot was not there, so let's pass it to John Blackwell, whose shot was there.
I mean, Blackwell he was hitting everything last night, which was great.
Love to see it.
Yeah, you do. And I think that this is where Wisconsin basketball has traditionally been successful. I mean, they haven't, because the transfer portal is what it is nowadays, you have to be a part of it. You have to participate in it. And what you're seeing at Marquette, for example, is they're a little bit behind the 8 ball because they don't participate in building your roster using every avenue that you possibly can. And I think that's a mistake on Marquette's part. I know that they want to be a solely, developed type of team. Recruit kids from high school, develop them, keep them for as long as, they don't turn pro. But right now, Marquette has got a dearth of players that could possibly turn pro. Wisconsin's been really successful. Greg Gard, I give all the credit in the world. I mean, is there a coach that gets more maligned in the state of Wisconsin, undeservedly so, than Greg Gard? I don't think there is. All he does is churn out quality teams, quality kids, and if they're not a fit for the program, they're not a part of the program. So, I mean, again, you look at a kid like Blackwell, all the credit to a really talented and underrated coaching staff for Blackwell, as well as the young man himself for taking to the coaching.
Yeah, I mean, they've been fantastic at it. And Blackwell, I mean, he was the unheralded piece of that recruiting class. It was more on Nolan Winter and Gus Yalden coming in that year. But, they brought in John Blackwell as well. They recognized that talent early. Everyone else was trying to catch on late. We've just seen that growth year after year, from freshman year to sophomore to junior. We have seen him take the great development steps. And that's so critical. I mean, as you mentioned, Doug, I mean, that's been the fabric of this program for a long time. And to be able to have that even in this transfer portal era, it's incredible the way Greg has adapted to the transfer portal era.
Yep.
Because, I mean, there was a time a couple of years ago, you remember when they missed out on the NCAA tournament? It's like, oh, could this be the end? If they have another year like this, is Greg Gard out? Are they making a change? And instead, he has adapted and he has thrived in this transfer portal era. He has been able to find guys year in and year out to come in and be great scorers, great additions to this team, and to be very successful. So, yeah, all the credit to Greg Gard. I am definitely a Greg Gard positive here. He has just been absolutely fantastic building this program, and it is just a thrill to watch each night.
Transitioning to the Green Bay Packers, they'll play the Bears on Sunday, a 3:25 kickoff at Lambeau Field. And Xavier McKinney was asked about where Caleb Williams has improved from one year over the next. And this is what he had to say about the second-year quarterback for Chicago.
Better decision making. Last year I think there was times where and even I think if you saw it in college, there are times where he's extending the plays and he's making a lot of plays, but sometimes he was forcing it when he didn't really need to. But now he's kind of balancing that now, where it's he knows when and when not to force, but then still being able to make plays, whether that's with his feet or with his arm.
When it comes to Caleb Williams, massive expectations, certainly very high potential coming into the league. Is he starting to show his ability slowly to potentially meet that target of being a star quarterback in this league?
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen so often are quarterbacks that either they're a good fit or not a good fit for the coaches that they have. And if you see a guy that struggles with one coach and flourishes with another, like Sam Darnold, for example, another USC quarterback. I mean, he struggled through the first several years of his NFL career, got with Kevin O'Connell, had a resurgence to his career, and right now he's helping lead the Seattle Seahawks. And they're having a really good season right now. Sometimes you just have to get a little confidence and get a coach that unlocks you. And Ben Johnson, I think, is a really good coach. He's showing that he's more than just an offensive coordinator. And all you have to do is just get that guy that believes in you, that can get the most out of you. I could only imagine what Brett Favre would have been without Mike Holmgren. Well, we did see that. It was with Jerry Glanville his rookie season, and Brett Favre did nothing. He was banished on the bench and couldn't even sniff game action with Jerry Glanville. He gets in with Mike Holmgren. Holmgren unlocks him. Mike McCarthy was able to unlock Aaron Rodgers and really develop him into a great NFL quarterback. He was already really talented as an NFL or as a college quarterback under Jeff Tedford at Cal, but he gets a quarterback guru in the NFL that drops his shoulders and turns him into more of a complete type of passer as opposed to a guy who holds the ball really high. I wonder what Matt Leinart would have been. I wonder what Josh Rosen could have been. I wonder what Tim Tebow could have been with different coaching in the NFL. So right now, what we're seeing with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, I think, is just unlocking what his potential can be. And I think that the early returns are very good in Chicago. Caleb Williams has always had talent. It's just a matter of getting the most out of it.
Yeah, and that's where you got to find the right situation. That's where it's so important, because you look at all these first-round quarterbacks in the league over the past several years, and what's really the determining factor in who thrives and who fails? I mean, is it as much the player that scouts are getting wrong all the time, or is it just the organization that they go to? Because, I mean, you can have a lot of really good quarterbacks or players in general. You put them in the wrong system with the wrong coaching staff, the wrong organization, and they're not going to be able to thrive. I mean, how come the Cleveland Browns couldn't find a quarterback for years and years? Was it because every single quarterback they picked sucked? Or was it because they were bad at unlocking them? They couldn't figure out how to unlock any quarterback, no matter who they had. Then when they finally get someone who did kind of force himself to be unlocked in Baker Mayfield, they ran him out of town because he had to deal with an injury one year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's about the right situation, especially for quarterbacks. You have to find that right spot, the right coaching staff, which makes it wild to me that all these rookie quarterbacks are seeing their coaches get fired their first season. It's like, well, now we're switching things up.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't we do this before? But either way, it is about getting that right staff, right place. Yeah, you got to have the right fit, because otherwise you're going to be like one of these other quarterbacks in the first round that just flames out and is not able to figure things out. And that's why that rate is so high. It's because the league fails the young quarterbacks, not the quarterbacks failing the league.
Well, the Badgers had their signing period yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They acquire, 12 guys, feeling pretty good about it. Now 13 with the addition of Watts early this morning. One of which, though, Amari Latimer, was not a part of yesterday's signing period. He ends up at at West Virginia. And this is what Fickle had to say about where you invest your money at this time if you don't end up going with high school recruits.
Not saying you have the exact crystal ball and know exactly, but the idea for us is understanding, like, guys, we got to invest in the guys we feel like can come in and contribute, treat them more like draft picks. And that means you might shoot at a little bit higher end of things. And in return, you might not have quite as many spots, but gives you some flexibility as you get later into the January.
Yeah, so they end up with a small number of commitment officially signed yesterday, but it allows for them to potentially spend more down the road in the transfer portal. If it was between Amari Latimer or paying a quarterback or someone in the portal additional money who's proven himself at the college level, am I crazy to say I prefer the latter?
You're not crazy to say you prefer the latter. I mean, I think that both are important, but certainly you need a quarterback, but it hasn't worked out for the Badgers the last several years when they've tried to go that route too. So I'm disappointed that, the thing that I really feel sorry for Amari Latimer is that he has to live in Morgantown instead of Madison. So that's the first L that he's taken.
That's right.
Yeah, I am confident that the Badgers will go out and spend the money that will be, hopefully, knock on wood, I don't think that's wood, whatever that is, available to them, and it's got to be more, because if you're going to be a big boy, if you're going to claim that you're a big boy, you got to go out and put on your big boy britches, and that's what is going to hopefully transpire during the transfer portal period, because the Badgers need some help in that regard.
Yeah, I don't think you're crazy for saying it either, because, there's so many other spots that they need to look on this team. And as good as Amari Latimer is as a running back, you also got a couple of other highly touted running backs already on this roster that still have several years of eligibility left for them, that, you kind of want to see what Darian Dupree and Gideon Atuka and Dylan Jones are going to be able to do, when they're all healthy, because that has the makings of a very strong backfield. So, spend it maybe, if you got to go get a quarterback, or if you got to spend it to retain like a Cooper Catalano or a Mason Posta to keep those guys in town. I think that's going to be important as well. So there's lots of areas on this roster that the Badgers have to fix. So spending it on those needs, I think, would be much wiser.
And they did get Ryan Hopkins, quarterback, yesterday to sign the dotted line. So you got a quarterback in this class that you feel pretty good about. But nonetheless, our Bruisers Bites, as always, are brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, wiconcretecoatings.com. And talking about quarterbacks you feel pretty good about, I think we're going to hear from one on the other side.
We are. Jordan Love coming up next. He met the media yesterday outside of the Packers locker room. Also, Nick Osen still to come as we wrap up hour number 4 here on D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6.
We welcome one of our favorites. Bear fan Bob is on line one.
Caleb Williams. I'm still not a big fan, guys. Make no mistake about it.
Yes, aren't you the guy who called him Caleb McNown?
And nothing has changed. If the Packers want to do us a favor, put them out of the game and put in Tyson Bagent, and this game will be over very, very quickly. That's how good that. Oh. You know, when the Philly game, the numbers are the numbers. You know, Caleb McNown makes 36 attempts and only completes 17. And if you look at the passes, and I watched this very closely, the passes are behind, they're low, they're this, they're that. They're not really on target. I'm sorry, for a first-round draft pick in the draft, there's no excuse for that. But I also think our new coach, Ben Johnson, is a freaking genius. It's been a long time since I've seen a little testosterone in that Bears locker room. You know, kind of like Mike Ditka had a lot of testosterone in his mustache. This guy's got about the same thing. So we're going to really find out what's going on. Now, I also think the Bears need to double team Micah Parsons. He's a really good player for you guys. He can change the game. You know, but if they double team him and this 2 running back set, now the 1 running back at the time on the field is kind of average. A 2 running back set like I saw on Friday, that's a little bit different story. You know, I saw that. I've seen that for 40 years on a Bears team, and I went, oh, look at this. You know, you get both these guys blocking, you know, or one of them blocking for the other one, then that's different. And Kyle Monungai, this kid's the real deal. He's bigger. He's stronger, and I think he's even faster than Swift. So look to see for him as one of the key in this game. And also look, I think he's a safety or a cornerback for our team. His name is Wright. He's not a real well-known player, but he's one of these guys who's just a ball hawk. He's the one who, on Friday, you know, stopped their Philadelphia, what is it, tush push thing?
Yeah.
Got the fumble out on Jalen Hurts. You know, I like people like that, you know, can stop the tush push. I think Green Bay did it too when they were playing him. Got in there and got a fumble, and I just thought that was totally awesome. You know, anything to stop Philadelphia is just fine with me. And you're talking to somebody who was at the double dunk game. I was close enough to hear it. And I was also at the playoffs in 2001 when Trotter dropped Jim Miller on his head and put us out of the playoffs then. That was, you know, a little bit of history. Never mind. So those are kind of my thoughts. Like I said, I don't know. I think the Bears are going to eke this one out, but I don't really know.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
September of 77, American duo Steely Dan released their 6th album, Asia. It goes to number 3 in the States on the strength of 2 top 20 hits, Peg and Deacon Blues. In October, the major label debut album by Meatloaf is released, hits number 14 in the U.S., and goes on to be one of the best-selling albums of all time. Leonard Skinner released the album Street Survivor. 3 days later, singer Ronnie Van Zant and 2 other band members are killed in a plane crash. The album goes to number 5 in the States, and the single What's Your Name hits number 13.
What's your name, little girl? What's your name?
In November, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand is released. It goes to number 2, driven by 3 hit singles, Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, and Lay Down Sally.
Lay down, Sally, and rest you in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Peter Gabriel to discuss why it's been beneficial for him to follow his own path.
If you went for the things that you believed in, you'd probably be with people that you enjoyed the company of, and it would be an interesting journey. So I think I've sort of followed that as much as I could, and now I think I have a life which is part music, part technology, and part benefit projects, and I meet all sorts of amazing people from very different backgrounds, and some of these projects come to fruition, so it's very satisfying.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Peter Gabriel and all your favorite artists.
It's D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, Dave Gasper here on the Thursday edition of the show. Coming up on Sunday, 3:25 kickoff at Lambeau Field. It's the Packers playing host to the Chicago Bears. Yesterday, outside of the Packers locker room, quarterback Jordan Love met the media.
How big is this game in your mind?
Man, that's a big game for sure. Obviously, NFC North matchup, and obviously the Bears number one in the NFC and top in the NFC North right now. So it'll be a great game, and obviously a game we got to go out there and handle business.
Jordan, you always hear, "Oh, it's just another game," but why this one is not, and you guys are embracing it? Why is that?
I think for obvious reasons. Like I said, they're number one in the NFC. So obviously we haven't played them yet. The only team in the NFC North we haven't seen. So, and two games in 3 weeks. So it'll be a great matchup. They're a good team. And like we've always said, it's that 1-0 mentality. Just handle business this week.
You guys have done a really good job of taking care of the ball, but you're facing a team that does a really good job of taking it away. What have you seen from them, and what is the key to once again consistently taking care of the ball in this matchup?
Yeah, it's something that we've harped on all season. Is we got to go out there and do a great job just protecting the ball, and that's everybody. That's me, the receivers, the running back side, anybody that's carrying the ball. And like you said, they're number one in the league at creating turnovers and getting interceptions. So I think they do a good job. Their DBs are they're aware of the ball, and they're making plays when it is in the air. So obviously a great group of DBs over there, but it just comes down to us, being smart with decisions and just taking care of it at all times.
Is there anything you found different about this Bears defense than the one you faced?
Last season, you're saying? Yeah, I think obviously new coordinator over there, new defense coordinator. So, kind of similar style, but, I think they are doing a good job. Their coverages look pretty good. And like we said before, they're doing a good job at hunting the ball right now and flying around. So they do a lot of stuff, and we'll have to just, prepare this week and see all the looks that we're going to get and go into it with a good game plan.
Your touchdown to Christian last week, you had verticals on both sides. How do you know, and when do you know that you're going to go there? Is that before the snap? Is there something you see after the snap that know that that's the right way to target?
It's just we call it a pick a side. You're just kind of going to your best matchup, who you want to go to, and like you said, you got mirrored routes on both sides, so you just kind of look out, see what you got. And I liked Christian winning down the field right there.
Is there something about how he ran that route that you noticed during the play, or is that okay? I like this matchup before the snap. Like, how does that work?
No, it's all really just like you said, pre-snap, kind of knowing who you got out there, knowing what matchup you got on the other side with DBs and things like that. But it's really one of those things where you just get back and you kind of peek when you get to the top of your drop, see if anybody's just one clean or anything like that. But I just kind of wanted to work Christian, obviously, with a guy with that much speed. You want to give him a chance down the field, and he did what he needed to do.
You've been doing that a lot more the past couple of weeks. I think he's had 17 targets the last 2 games. Is that intentional on your part with how he's come back
with Christian?
Make sure he gets plenty of targets.
Yeah, I think that's kind of just the way it's gone down. But I think he's been capitalizing on those ops that he's had. He's done some really good job. Made some big time contested catches downfield, and I think he's improving on all that stuff. So I think when the guy's making plays, you just kind of keep feeding him. But I think it's just the way some of the plays are playing out too, and some of the opportunities we got with coverage matchups and things like that. But he's capitalizing on all those options he's got.
How's Jaden looked, and what's going to mean to get him back just from a yards after catch perspective? We should have had a lot of that since Tuck went out.
He's looked good, man. He's looked obviously, like we said, he's been putting work on the side to be able to get back, and having him back out there at practice has been it's been nice. So we all know what he's capable when he's on the field, and like you said, the things he does when he gets the ball in his hands, when just a playmaker, just a real dynamic playmaker. So we've been missing that. It'll be nice to hopefully get him back.
As you hit this game in the stretch, what are you most confident in about the Packer offense right now?
Yeah, I think we've improved a lot on a lot of things that we've needed to improve on from the earlier games we played. And it's all about just keep stacking, keep focusing on doing our job, and the little details that's going to help, keep propelling us. But, guys been stepping up and making plays. Like I said, O-line's been doing a great job keeping me clean. And the run game, obviously, I think has been looking better and better. So it's a lot of stuff we've just kind of slowly been improving on and keep harping on the details and focus on doing our job. But, it's trending in the right direction.
Jordan, Matt took a stray from Ben Johnson at his introductory press conference with Ben said, I enjoyed beating Matt a couple times a year. I know you want to win the game for a lot of reasons, but Is there one you want to win it for your coach? And based on what was said?
Nah, we're not worried about those things that are said. It's another game, obviously. The Bears matchup, we're always trying to win that game.
You heard it, though. You said it. My bad.
I've seen some stuff, yeah. I've seen some stuff.
What went through your head?
It is what it is, man.
Jordan, Aaron really embraced this rivalry and played into it. Can you feel this as a player, the rivalry between these two teams as it enters a new era with you and obviously Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I think it's a rivalry game that dates back way before, I've been here. So it's one of those things that, you know what the rivalry is all about, and obviously what the week brings. It's a fun rivalry to be a part of. But I think for the most part, it just comes down to those NFC North games. And like I said before, you got the two top teams in NFC North going against each other, which I think just feeds into everything a little bit more. But it's a great rivalry.
They were 5-12 last year. When do they get your attention this season?
This season, I think they've been doing some good things. I think records kind of don't always speak for the type of team that you're playing, but I think they've been, trending in the right direction, doing a lot of good things. I think their defense has always been really solid and done some really good things. In the last couple of matchups, we've had some close games. And so, I think their offense has been building. Obviously, Caleb going into year 2 has been doing some really good things over there. So, I think everything's coming together for them now, and everybody's seeing the type of team that they are. But they've been winning some close games, and that's what it takes in the league. But new coaching staff over there, a lot of things for them. But I think they've been a solid team.
There's your QB1, Packers quarterback Jordan Love, meeting the media at he used to meet the media at the locker, and now it's outside because he's got locker mates.
That's good.
Is the power,
like a sitcom,
the power
there.
of Jordan Love.
Yeah, it was like a sitcom. Like you just dropped a joke and then it's like
very Family Guy right there.
Yeah.
This is very, very Family Guy.
Perfect.
I think what Dave is trying to say is Nick Osen is coming up next. We'll check in with our friend from 24/7 Sports on the other side. It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
It's like cream, stronger and harder than a bad girl's dream. Make a bad one good.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D will be back in just a moment. It's the most consequential matchup in the rivalry in over a decade.
Obviously, Chicago's the number 1 team in the NFC right now, so this should be a great game.
Packers-Bears, Sunday at 3:25.
When you got hired, you said you had enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. Why was it important for you to get across the Packer rivalry to the fan base?
It's a big week. It's a big week. We know how important this rivalry is, so just wanted to address that.
We're getting you ready for the matchup all week on the game. Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6.
Talking to Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV. The prism that you're looking through the secondary is like, well, if they suck against these guys, just wait till they play Justin Jefferson. Well, who's throwing at Justin Jefferson? Like, who's left? Okay, in theory, those guys.
Detroit. It's Detroit. Here's the thing. Here's where this is driving all of this, Drew. And I know you're not quite the creature of the internet that I am. So let me school you here. What everyone is worried about in Packers fandom is it's going to be Thursday, Thanksgiving morning. You've got the sides, you've got the turkey, you got the family. You're all gathered around the TV to watch the Green Bay Packers take on the Detroit Lions in Detroit, where Detroit is a much better football team, and they have a number of weapons, and they complete a bunch of passes, and they score touchdowns, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's doing a stupid headstand, right? And then all 10 days until the next game, Lions fans are going to be in your Twitter mentions as a Packers fan, giving you holy hell. And Packers fans are going to be like, I told you we needed other corners. I knew we were going to get burned, blah, 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 blah. That is where this is all coming from.
I could see it. Micah Parsons might have a word on that, influencing that matchup.
You think?
As well, which is why they got him.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In February of 77, 60s band leader Manfred Mann has a new band and scores a U.S. #1 hit with a cover of Bruce Springsteen's song Blinded by the Light. In March, Foreigner released their debut album. It goes to #4 in the U.S., driven by 2 top 10 singles, Cold as Ice and Feels Like the First Time. Philadelphia blue-eyed soul duo Hall & Oates have their first U.S. #1 with Rich Girl from their 5th album, Bigger Than the Both of Us. Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors is released. It's their second #1 album in a row in the U.S., dominating the charts at #1 for 31 weeks. It spawns 4 top 10 singles, including the #1 Dreams.
When the rain washes you clean, you know.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
No BS on the game.
Show up all the odds of the different teams that could win the title. There are 14 teams up on there, none of which were named the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
For the first time in a long time.
We're not top 14. Jeez. Okay.
Let alone top 4. Yeah. I mean, that's been the Bucks for a majority of the last decade since Giannis has taken that next step and become the MVP player that he is and has been in the NBA. So you just see, and at the Potawatomi Sportsbook right now, you can look down the list of different teams, and I think the Bucks appear right around 15th or 18th in terms of odds. They're like 50-1 long shots to win the NBA championship.
Plus 5,000 right now.
And understandably so. They are a really, really unproven group and a very unproven commodity. But when they got the best player in the Eastern Conference that is still seemingly wide open, definitely not as much of an open and shut case as I think the Western Conference is, with Oklahoma City kind of head and shoulders above everybody. In the East, I don't see that, and I see a team that is, with him as motivated as he appears to be, it could lend itself to positive results.
Billy and Armin are talking about all of your favorite teams each morning from 6 to 10 on the game.
iHeartRadio. Soundtrack. Flashback.
Admit it, you tried to reenact the water and chair scene. You know you did. 1983's Flashdance was a movie, but we remember the music more. Anyone else have Maniac by Michael Sembello on their jogging playlist? Guilty.
She's a maniac, maniac on the floor. And she's dancing like she's never done.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
I'm a hard-working man. I wear a steel hard hat.
I would like to see Nick Osen in a steel hard hat. I know he's a hard-working man.
Oh, yeah.
Who sings this?
It's Brooks and Dunn.
Okay, so neither one of these guys have ever put on a hard hat in their damn lives.
Probably
Nick's not. He's self-described, not necessarily the most mechanical man. Last night, grabbed some pizza at Ian's after the game real quick, and let's just say your boy had to step up and help him with his pizza box.
Oh, there's a story there that I can't wait to hear.
goodness.
Nick Osen from 24/7 Sports joining us here on D.N.D. What's the deal with the pizza box there, Nick?
Yeah, guys, it had been a long, long day, with signing day. I was quite hungry. I was ready to eat one of my slices. But as my fiance and now Nick can attest to, I'm not too good with folding boxes, closing boxes, any of that type of construction. So as I'm scarfing down a slice, Bruiser steps in.
All right. Well, that's he's a friendly
He bought me the
neighbor
slice
like that.
I ate.
Okay.
So I mean, what's fair is fair.
Yeah.
It's the least you could do.
The most, I guess, obvious question that I think Wisconsin football fans have after yesterday is, all right, how'd they do?
Yeah, Doug, I think overall, look, I'm pretty high on the actual class that they got, right? So, like, a lot of the players I think are very solid and playable guys in 2 or 3 years. But I think what was obviously a huge kind of question and talking point afterwards was Amari Latimer. Obviously, the 4-star running back that we've talked about didn't end up signing here. And as I went pretty in-depth on the boards yesterday, not really anything Wisconsin could have done more in the end. So I will say that overall, I think that was a huge discussion. I think people were disappointed. But when I kind of laid out the backstory and people really understood, it was just really, really hard to kind of obtain, almost impossible in the end. I like a lot of the other guys, though, Doug. I love what they did on the D-line. There's a guy, Arthur Scott, that's a little bit underrated. DJ Baugh, very high ceiling. They got one of their top quarterback targets in the entire cycle. They did get another running back, Quantavious Wiggins, more of a speedster, good vision coming out of the backfield. So I really like the class. Again, it's smaller than most would get, and obviously the Latimer news. But overall, I like the class.
Nick, you hear the comments leading up to the end of the regular season that there's going to be greater resources, greater opportunity to potentially bring in players. At this point now, do we shift our focus to hopefully being blown away by some of the transfer portal grabs?
Yeah, Nick, that's exactly where you've got to start looking. On top of retention, though, of course, right? Like, I think in this day and age, and I don't necessarily blame people, it's just kind of the state of the game, but you're always kind of talking about, what could be next, new players and things. Retention will be huge. I think some of that quarterback room, certainly the running back room, O-line, of course, those young linebackers, that's all big time. But then, yes, they're going to be very aggressive in the portal, and I respect that Luke Fickell didn't really shy away from that at this presser yesterday, right? He said it'd be a larger class. Obviously, guys, we can all be honest because the staff and the fans, everybody knows, next year is a huge year. When you have a season where the AD's kind of coming out and giving a vote of confidence, that next season needs to be much better and more successful. So, of course, you want to play the guys you have. Of course, you want to build on the high school classes. But they're looking to get old guys. They're looking for these transfers, similar to what Guard has done in basketball, older transfers, 1-2 year guys. If they have multiple years, great. But as we know, this program needs to win 7, 8, 9 games next season.
Nick, with with signing day, and you see a lot of these flips. We talked about Latimer, but the Badgers were able to get themselves one this morning. Connie Watts getting a safety. How important was getting that flip, and what could he bring to this secondary? Because Badgers secondary seems like the spot where it could certainly use some extra upgrades.
Yeah, Dave, it was huge. And it was funny, as we wrapped up basketball at about 11:30, 11:40, Brucewood saw me getting prepped up for that one a little bit. We're working with some colleagues, but that was a good ad. I think that, I love what you said about kind of some recent flips, right? Because they've done a few of them. Kanai Watts, I think he's somebody that, again, will need to be developed. I don't think there are a ton of plug-and-play type guys, but I love his size, 6'1", about 180. I had a decent offer list, not a ton of Big Ten, SEC schools, but I think he's actually maybe a little bit underrated. Seems very excited about joining here. He'll play a little bit more in the run, I think, could be his specialty. Does have some interceptions in his career, and I'm excited to see how he can develop guys on the back end of that secondary.
I'm interested in the Latimer thing. When you say that there's nothing that Wisconsin could have done, I know that Morgantown is never going to beat Madison city for city. What drew him there as opposed to Wisconsin? What was when you said that, it just kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah, definitely, Doug. I can go a little bit, into that. There was kind of a lot that happened within about 36 to 48 hours. But essentially, throughout the week, I was hearing that there was a mystery school in the mix. Obviously, that ended up being West Virginia. And things were just never kind of fully shut down like they should have been for a committed player. And I got very close to this one, made some great relationships throughout. So essentially, things got a little bit murky in the last day. And with West Virginia's staff, there's kind of an old connection there with older brother Jameer Latimer that's obviously here for the time being. And he was the staff that actually recruited him to Jacksonville State. His previous before coming to Wisconsin. There's some family ties, without getting into numbers. I can respectfully say confidently on all parties that NIL was a pretty big factor late. Wisconsin was competitive, and there's nothing wrong with obviously schools pushing for who they want. But I think West Virginia's numbers got really, really, really high late. There was not a ton of communication, which is unfortunate in the last day or so from the Latimer side toward Wisconsin. And it just kind of fizzled out. I mean, I've covered this for 5 years. I know my colleague John McNamara has been doing it for about 22 years. And even he said the way this ended was kind of one of the craziest we've ever seen, just because it kind of popped out of the blue. And if you weren't following closely, you were missing some details along the way.
Nick, you lose out on the 4-star running back, but you bring in Quantavious Wiggins, who is one of your higher rated recruits, bringing him in late in the cycle, flipping him from FIU, if I'm not mistaken. You're going to have an opportunity to have a pretty good backfield regardless of Latimer. Do you think folks are getting caught up more on the fact that he was a 4-star or more on the fact that he was a running back?
Yeah, that's a great question, Nick. I think it's actually, I'm going to give you a third option. I think it's because he was such a big win. So I guess kind of the 4-star, like you mentioned, but just kind of the sheer shock and surprise. So I think that'd be the answer there. I know that fans were hurt, disappointed, but with Quantavious, whose self-proclaimed nickname is Fat Boy, and I know that Coach Pickle and some of the guys were having fun with that yesterday. He's actually really good. He's probably a 4-star level talent. Even people within the network agreed with me on that. More your speed guy, quick first step, one cut and go vision. And then, we'll see. Obviously, there's always kind of, attrition and maybe guys transfer in, transfer out throughout the program, obviously. But at face value, if you've got a Jones or Dupree or somewhat of a mix there, I think Wiggins can be in that group early. I think it's a pretty good backfield. As we know, though, Nick, you need to kind of build off of some better, kind of more cohesive health and O-line play as well.
And of course, the quarterback position is the most important for Wisconsin, for any football team, really, Nick. And you got Carter Smith last year as a big time quarterback recruit, ends up playing a bunch of games here down the stretch. Then you get Ryan Hopkins this year out of pretty good high school, Maitre D High School in California. He seemed pretty steady all along the way, his commitment to Wisconsin. But what's your kind of sense of what Hopkins brings on the field, and maybe when we might be able to see him in Wisconsin on the field?
Dave, he's a really good ad. The staff is truly excited about him. I can tell you that. So he's got good size. One thing that really pops about him is his speed and athleticism. I think it comes out of one of the best programs in the country. And you know what? Frankly, he's someone that he might be coming in a little bit more polished than Carter Smith did when he first got here. Now, Carter's grown, and you guys know I really like Carter long term. But I wouldn't be shocked if maybe 2.5 years in, Hopkins is fighting for a true spot. Again, the staff really loves what they did, and credit to the staff for getting a quarterback from a program that is consistently top 5 to 10, 5 to 8 in the nation.
Yeah, he looks like Ronnie Sunshine Bass almost from Remember the Titans. Straight out of California. He's got the blonde hair, Sixer. I mean, that's what it reminds me of.
Speaking of flowing blonde hair, I don't know how much attention you pay to former Badgers players. Maybe Bertoyer going back into the transfer portal, spent a season at Sam Houston with Phil Longo. 4-star recruit. What are your thoughts on him? I mean, he's back in the portal. What happened with him? Was he an overrated 4-star recruit? What does his future look like? I don't know if you pay attention to what happened this past season, but yeah, he's I guess available again.
Yeah, Doug, I did see that he is available again, and I think he's somebody that the 4-star I think was probably a fine rating. But again, it needs to be more developed. And I actually have written about it a little bit this week. I think people just forget about that aspect in college football with so much change and so much turnover. So while I think he can certainly still be a starting quarterback somewhere, I think it maybe be best if he can go to a larger program and just take some time and really sit and learn and develop for a year and a half and see what he can do those last 2 years in his college career, Doug.
Maybe he's back at Wisconsin. No, I'm kidding.
Bring him home.
Bring him home.
Yeah. Who knows there? A lot to still be figured out. Nick, I kind of want to break from the Badgers for a brief moment and reflect on the decision that was made to fire James Franklin. And they got 2 recruits to sign, one of which I believe is a Pennsylvania native. Like, the sky has fallen. Both of them are Pennsylvania natives. Like, decisions were made to fire coaches in other markets that were not wise, most namely there. Wisconsin sticking with Fickell, I think, is the right decision. Do you think that the alternative could have looked like what Penn State ended up with?
Yeah, Nick, I think it was, frankly, if I could look a little bit more just at that Penn State Franklin side, it was unbelievable. I mean, I'm sitting here in friend group chats like, are these guys serious? Because it seems that they've gone 0 for 8, 0 for 9 on coaches. I'm not saying everybody was offered the job like Tataki was from BYU, right? But conversations, interviews, they are really striking out. I haven't even heard any new names the last 2 days. A couple good players they got, but like you said, only 2 players. You don't know how things are going to look there. I obviously had said that I thought Fickell and staff should get another year, which they're getting, but just in all these years, I've never seen something like this either.
Yeah, it was fumbled from the get-go. I mean, they fired a coach who was 3 plays away from being like one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the entire country. I get it. You can't lose to UCLA. You can't have the showing that they had against Northwestern. I understand that, but wow, was that a knee-jerk reaction? And I think they're seeing the business end of that. Nick Osen from 24/7 Sports. Nick, we always appreciate your time and your efforts. I know yeoman's work this week with signing day and whatnot, but we always appreciate your time and love having you on the show.
Guys, it's always my pleasure. Thank you so much. We'll talk next week.
Look forward to it. There he goes, Nick Osen from 24/7 Sports. As we kind of transition, and we'll transition with Nick. I know you guys already do on the Nicolay or on the J&K Security Solutions basketball postgame show, rather, as he is one of your postgame guests, and he's certainly plugged into the basketball program as well as the football program. We've just been talking to him about mostly football on this show, but as we transition now from one sport to the other, we will look forward to hearing Nick's thoughts on round ball as opposed to the oblong.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
but the oblong never goes away.
The oblong will never go away, nor should the oblong ever go away.
Penn State, by the way, their recruiting class currently composite ranked 153 in the country, behind South Dakota State, West Georgia, and Towson. Idaho State also ranked above Penn State.
Sucks to be them.
Yep.
All right, that's it for the Thursday edition of the show. We will talk to you tomorrow in 20 hours. We will shower up. We'll try to do better tomorrow. Drew and KB are next.
So come Friday night, I like to party hard.
iHeartRadio.